welcome
Hey,
to episode 4, BJ.
gone by so fast. Already
That, that,
episode 4.
that is true. We are on episode 4. I'm really shocked. Like, wow. When I was creating the title, I was like, wow, we at number 4 already. So we are episode 4. Got a great show for you. As you all know, we have the awesome E.T. Williams, aka Doctor of Common Sense. How did you? By the way, we BJ and I pre-recorded the interview
Mhm.
yesterday, so we're showing it today. It's going to be shown in the second hour. What did you think about that interview?
I think we should have had on for 2 hours. We had a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, the guests, everyone has to listen to us for the first hour, and then they get to hear him at the end. But no, the conversation was flowing, and it was a fast hour.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
good things to talk about. A lot of things happening in news in general now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It was really a good conversation. It's you guys
Mm.
are gonna love it. I promise you. Dr. Common Sense did not disappoint.
I mean, we were talking about things that were like, okay, well, he was banned from social media and all that stuff, and we're worried about that on this show. Every really conservative commenter is worried about getting bans,
Right.
and so as we're pushing subjects, Tree, I bet you're a bit like, okay, hold on now, don't talk about such
I
good things.
was.
Wait a
I was like. I
second,
was like. I was
I'm
like.
on my
Oh
last,
no! 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 No!
my last life. Because he's not on YouTube anymore, so he doesn't care, you know.
Yeah. He
He's just
cares,
not
but
being
he's
held
just
back.
not. He's not. He cares. He's just not aware. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, exactly.
So I'm
Yeah.
in awareness. I'm like, But no, he was perfect. He was just because I was like, oh, I shouldn't have gone into the Islam part. And it's like,
Oh, can't talk about that? No,
no, we can, but you can't get too deep into it. Trust me.
really.
Every strike I got on my channel, every strike was something about reading the Quran and just following everything that a
Yeah.
particular religion does, and just basically saying this is what they do and this is what it just. I mean,
Just citing facts. I mean, just like when we talk about, coronavirus, if you start quoting the CDC too much, wait a second. If you start quoting Dr. Fauci from a year ago, hold on, wait a second. That's
no,
going a
they
little too
like that.
far.
They only want you to quote CDC. They only want you to.
If
You
you if you
cannot.
quote them, if you quote Fauci them from a year ago, it's a little bit different. If you quote the World Health Organization from a long time ago, it's a little different.
Well, no, because I
Because
have a.
the story's changed.
Well, you no. Because I have a video of Dr. Fauci saying that masks are okay, and then I got him saying it ain't okay. You can do
It's fine.
that. You can post anything Dr. Fauci says. You can post
So,
anything that the
so
CDC
you
says.
could post misinformation as long as it's made by
Yeah,
Dr.
you
Fauci.
can't. You can't.
Oh, okay.
You cannot post anything that has not been approved or accredited by Dr. Fauci or the Biden administration or
Approved by the
WHO
higher
or
ups.
CDC. Yeah, that's the catcher there. But if Dr. Fauci says one thing this day and he says something else, you can post that, but you can't post anything from an unauthorized doctor or
An authorized
unauthorized.
person.
So yeah. You know
A
what I'm
person
saying?
who's not an expert.
Right.
One of the anointed ones.
What
Yeah.
what amazes me is that you can speaking of unauthorized, just to show you how biased the YouTube is, you can post videos of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden saying that they will not take Trump's vaccine.
Yeah.
But you
You
cannot
can't say that.
show any, you can't talk about, not taking Trump's vaccine. So it's a lot of hypocrisy there.
All the
But
all the Democrats were saying that. Remember Joy
yeah,
Reid? Like she was laughing at the thought of taking
yeah,
that vaccine.
you can post all of that was said last year, but you can't post anything updated that is not said by the Democratic Party or anybody in the medical field that is not approved by YouTube. And that is based upon their terms of service, the WHO and the CDC and Dr. Fauci.
What
All of
a
those
world
people
we
are
live in.
they're the only ones who can credit. And we all know that you have to go get the jab, everybody. Listen to
Please,
Dr. Fauci. Hold on. Where's my
please do
cue
that.
card? Hold on. Where my cue card is?
Find it.
Here we go.
The lawyers tell us to stay on
Yeah,
air, please.
you must get vaccinated.
Mm.
Please go to the nearest facility and get that jab.
Please take it.
Make sure you are fully vaccinated. Follow the guidelines of Dr. Fauci and CDC.
And wear 2 or 3 masks. What they tell us to say? 3
Well,
masks? As many masks as possible, as well as getting the vaccine.
wait, what do you? I didn't hear you. So what did you say?
I said you have to wear, I think, 2 or 3 masks. Which one is it now?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because mask is not in a big push as the vaccine. That is the big push. The big push is that you must get vaccinated, ladies and gentlemen.
It's crazy about what you can and can't talk about. We are in, what are we in, 8 or 9 years of really, maybe 10 years of these big tech companies being so powerful. And this is where we're at right now. In the first decade of them taking over society, we're at this point right now. Where are we going to be a decade from now?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like everything that is bad in America now, we can trace back to the 60s, the 70s, or in some cases the 30s.
Hmm.
And it slowly progresses how bad it gets. And right now we're only, again, not even a decade into really these companies controlling everything.
In a way, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm pretty glad because soon I will be on. I will still be streaming on YouTube and Odyssey and Facebook and all the other platforms that I am actually broadcasting to now. However, I will be now on my Prime. I'll let you know the date, but I'll be on my website. And they can do whatever they want. The fear of not having a platform to go to is out the window. I don't care now. I'm gonna be on treeoflogic.com. Treeoflogic.com. That's the place you're gonna find me regardless. So, oh, by the way, and Dr. Common Sense ET talks about that too. So, you guys, I'm telling you, you're gonna love this interview. So, there's that. All right. Without further ado, I want to let you guys know before we get into our first topic for today. I want you guys to know that the Bear and Tree Show airs every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, 8 o'clock p.m. and we start on time. I know that's,
Mhm.
but by the way, did you know that's not customary? People who do podcasts will have a waiting sign in there for like 20 minutes for the rest of the crowd to
Yeah.
come in.
And you're just sitting there until they get their audience ready. Yeah.
I don't do
I
that.
don't get it.
I mean, I
No.
see I see why people do that because most people show up on time, but because this video is staying up on the channel, they can always come to the YouTube channel and watch the
Yeah.
replay. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
they come in late, I just don't see the purpose. And not only that, I got things to do. It's like,
I think punctuality is extremely important in society in all aspects. I'm always a couple minutes early. When I was living down in Miami, because I'm from Miami, I used to teach a class at the University of Miami, and when my class started, there'd be about a quarter of the kids there. And then the kids are coming in late, they say, well, it's just Miami time. It's just Miami time. And I was
really?
like, I'm getting the F out of here. And I moved out of there. I was like, I don't like this culture.
That's the reason why I moved to. That was one of the best things about living in Germany. If you
Mhm.
show up 10 minutes, like if you showed up 5 minutes early, or maybe even 10 minutes early, you're considered late. That's just how, and
I like that.
you can set your watch for real. You can set your watch to the time of the arrival of all of the subways and buses. They are so anal and accurate, and I loved it. I freaking loved it that I
Nice.
knew that the bus was going to come on time. And there was only one time the subway came late, and that was because somebody jumped in front of the tracks. So I mean that was
Yeah, that's,
unfortunate.
that's a
Yeah,
good,
so
it's a good
that's going to
excuse. Yeah.
cause a little delay. But other than that,
I agree.
it's not going to be a big deal. So there's that.
Yeah.
So be sure to tune in. We have where the goal is to have a guest every other week, but if it doesn't happen in a way, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna still give you guys good
I'm working on
content.
some really good guests to come on.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start off with our first topic of today, and that is the Haitian invasion.
Thank you for
So,
titling it the Haitian invasion. So
huh?
I'll have to say it. Thank you for titling it the Haitian invasion, so I don't have to say it. Because I don't like this migration stuff, right? It's like these aren't refugees that like if they're escaping violence, they can go to Mexico, they can go all other places, right? It's economic refugees, which aren't really
And
refugees, right? And
they
so they're
even
coming here
admit it
against
though.
our laws. That's an invasion,
Yeah,
right?
they
What
admit
else
it.
would be an invasion?
They admitted that that they came from Chile because everybody was like, where are these people coming from? Why? How did they get from an island in Haiti all the way down here to South America? But then again, I didn't really question it too much because I was like, well, why should I question it? We got a lot of people from Africa coming to America, crossing over the border.
All doing
Uh,
the same thing.
and doing the same thing. So I didn't think much about it. So we're going to look at a couple of articles and then we're going to look at some facts. So let me just show you guys. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I got the thing queued up. Nope, I did not. I'm so glad I checked it before I switched over here. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Okay. So here we go. So as you can see, no, that's the video section here. Here we go. Sorry, guys. So oh, good Lord. Why are thousands of Haitian migrants at the Texas border? So we're going to look at a couple of articles to find out that they are from Chile. And they've been waiting there for a while. And then once they found out that Biden was the resident, they was like, this is a good time to come and get free stuff, free this, free that. And that's the reason why they're here. So let's look at the first video right here. Hold on, there's a lot.
When we're talking about this, I just want to say, like, we're talking like the Haitian invasion, and I think this whole thing is disgusting. But I don't blame the Haitians whatsoever. Like, yes, they're breaking our laws, but they don't really think of it that way because they know they're not going to get in trouble. It's not a real law to them because it's not a real law in practical sense, right? Like if you're told if you're living in a country with the average salary $7,000 a year or whatever it might be in Haiti, which is probably close to that, and you're told, hey, if you go to America, no one's going to care. Just walk right in, and you can live off benefits that pay way more than your job does, then of course you're going to want to go. If you have kids, of course you're going to want to go. And
Right,
so I don't blame them at all for coming. I blame our administration for not protecting us.
right. Let's see. I want to make sure. Okay, that's perfect. What size is this? I want to make sure because I want to make it big enough for you guys can see. Okay, so here we have Chilean ID cards discarded along the Acuna side of the river show what looks like Haitian barriers. I found these myself and arranged them like this on a smuggler trail. So what they do is they come from Haiti to Chile. I don't know. I gotta figure out why they're coming, why they are setting up
So someone's helping them, right? Like this is an organized effort to say,
yeah,
hey, here's what you do. You go to Chile first, and it's really easy to get ID cards there, right? And then you travel on this route to get to the US. I mean, it's an organized effort. It's probably some NGOs, the same sort of NGOs that help migrants get from Africa and the Middle East over to Europe. Same sort of situation, probably.
yeah. And so they were, and what it is that I do believe. Hold on, let me make sure I'm stating this correctly. If the reason why they're throwing away their residency card is because if another country welcomed you, you can't claim amnesty in America. So this is nothing but a bunch of opportunist liars here. And if we're not, I don't say this over and over again. If we don't take care of our own, why are we responsible for taking care of other people? We're not even taking care of the. First of all, I want to apologize. I did not know that the homeless veterans in America are up to 300,000. I had no idea it was that many. I thought it was like 80 or 80,000, something like that. It is over 300,000 homeless vets.
And we have like 200,000 migrants then crossing this month into the US, and a lot of them are going to end up here. A lot of them are going to end up on benefits.
Not only
So we're
that though,
taking care of them.
but here's the deal. That's just vets. What about regular homeless people?
Yeah.
Homeless Americans?
Any
Okay.
big city, you know how bad it's getting.
Right. And then let's see. Here's another one. Let me see. I think I might have already have this one open already. No, this is just more cards. This is holy smokes. He just
This is not organic, right? If all these people are going to Chile first, that's not organic. Like you don't go from Haiti all the way to Chile. That's not the right direction, right? If you want to go to Mexico, at least go straight to Mexico on a plane. But they're going there first for some reason. There's some legal reason someone's telling them to. Otherwise, why would they?
Right.
Have
Here's
to.
what Todd says. The reason Haitian migrants discard their Chilean and Brazilian ID cards over here on
Oh,
the
years and
Mexican
years.
side is to obscure from asylum reviewers. That's what I said earlier. That's what I said.
Yeah, yeah.
That they were already safely and prosperly, no, purposelessly situated for
Prosperously.
prosperously. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys.
I could do the reading if you want.
I cannot. No, I'm going. I got
I'm
to
doing big
improve on
words.
my reading skills. Situated for years and years before coming for the American upgrade. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear, I mean, there's a lot of different explanations, but a lot of people were saying, well, a lot of these Haitians went to South America. I think it was 2012 was the earthquake, right? So went there and then they never left and then now they're coming here, right? So upgrade to South America, better upgrade to North America after that.
Let me see what this one is saying right here. Holy smokes. Okay, so we got a video here. Let me. I don't think this have any sound to it. Meanwhile, the CBP sources confirmed to Fox News that the 224-mile of the Rio Grande River border are now unpatrolled. So
Yeah.
let's see what this is.
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough border agents there, and so they can't control the whole entire border with this massive influx. Of course, Biden's not going to send more agents out there.
This is like a
And
third world
Texas is,
country.
yeah, definitely. They're setting up shop there. And Texas sent like their kind of border control agents over there, and you saw pictures of them. Kind of weird. They're like lining up their cars. You see those pictures? The Texas Border Patrol's lining up their cars to
No,
create
no,
like a
no. This
barrier.
is no. This is not. This is to give food and water.
So, you know, I'm talking about like so
Oh, you talking?
Texas.
I saw another picture. Oh, you talking about? I thought you was talking about this picture right here. Yeah, this one
No,
right
no, no,
here.
no. Yeah, a
Oh,
different
okay.
picture of Texas Border Patrol. I think state troopers creating a line, a barrier with their cars to try to help out a little bit. It was like a 2 mile long barrier or something like that. But it's a bit
Yeah.
confusing because why is a barrier necessary? Can't you have people there and then once you have people know not to come? But I guess when these refugees are coming, I don't know if I'm a refugee. I'm so sorry. When these migrants are coming, they're just going to keep on walking through. I mean,
I'm
there's
not.
no.
I
They
call
want to
them
get caught.
criminals because what they're doing is criminal.
They are criminals.
These
Again, like
these
I
are
don't think
criminals. These are
I'll
actual
do. I'll.
criminals.
I 100% agree. I'll do the same thing in their position. I hate to say because of what Biden's doing,
Right.
and Biden's incentivizing them to come here.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing with the BLM riots last year. We knew that, or they knew that if they rioted, they wouldn't get in trouble, and so they wanted to riot. Right?
Mm,
Is it morally wrong? Yes, but they knew they'd get away with it.
mm.
So it incentivized the behavior.
Now, people were saying in my chat that there were some Haitians being released in America, and I was like, producer receipts, ladies and gentlemen. If you make a claim in my chat, don't just say it and don't produce receipts. You know what I'm saying? Oh, also, I'm just not going to believe what you're saying. So finally, somebody
Receipts.
produce receipts. Because people say a lot of stuff in my chat, and I am the type of person. I know that a lot of people's channels are infiltrated with trolls as well as people who are just there to spread lies. All right. And then you got your conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other. So if somebody tells me something is happening, I'll go produce the receipts, because if I say something happened, trust me, sweetie, put your money on me. I'm right.
See
I
those
can prove it.
receipts because I mean, like what I heard was that like women and children could stay, and some men had to leave, and then some men, the men who had their families with them could stay, but I
Yeah,
guess
the
single
men
men, a
who
lot
were
of them would
with
have to be shipped
families,
away.
the father, if the woman said, this is my baby daddy, this is my husband, then he can stay. But if they came with no family and they were not like a father or a son, an older son of the mother, then they had to go. They were put
So
on
strange.
planes.
Why would we want like pregnant mothers and mothers of young kids into the country when they're the ones that are going to be like using the welfare, right? Like sending their kids to school, getting food stamps, that sort of thing. I
Mm.
mean, if anything, I don't want any of these people in here, but anything, at least like the fighting age males will work, which will hurt our labor market, of
They ain't
course.
gonna work.
But but it is a weird thing that they want like the mothers of small children in. I don't really see the difference
Because you can have
there.
the anchor babies up in here, and then that
Oh
will
yeah,
have what you call the chain migration.
yeah. Do you have the link, or do you have any article about like there was I think we've heard about how many of these Haitian women were pregnant and giving birth in the camp. This anchor baby problem is something that we haven't been talking about. It's going on for decades and decades. The Chinese will come in just on vacation and then have a baby to be a citizen. I know a lot of people in
Why didn't Trump
Chicago.
do anything about it? Trump had an opportunity.
Because
Trump
Trump
talked all
ineffective.
that crap about anchor babies. That's the reason why I was so excited for him. He was talking about get rid of, and I remember people were saying, don't call them ankle babies. And Trump was like, what do you want me to call them? And says, we'll call them something, 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 something. He was like, no, that's too long. I'm going to call them anchor babies.
Trump believed the right things. He said the right things, but he didn't know how to operate in the government. That's why I'm excited for someone like Ron DeSantis, who has similar beliefs, but I think he knows how to get things done.
Trump couldn't have done this
Um,
by executive order like Biden is doing.
he probably has some whispers in his ear saying, like, "No, that's unconstitutional, sir. You can't do this
As
by
if
executive
Trump,
order."
cares about the Constitution.
Well, hey, then you tell me why didn't he? Because we know he wanted to. I just
Because
talk of him not being effective.
Trump, like most politicians, will say the things that will sound good to our ears, will do something totally different.
You
Right
think he
now,
believes it?
I'm so over the whole. He's gonna save us because you all have heard this story before. I was so in love and like, yes, Trump this and Trump that. And when he came, there was so many reasons why I got off the Trump train. You know what I'm saying? But but when you start messing with the Second Amendment, you're going to get on my bad side. And so when he came down here to 2017 to the NRA convention, in which I left the NRA, I don't deal with that organization anymore. If you want to be part of a gun organization, I would say the Gun Owners of Association probably the next best thing, but I don't deal with the NRA. But anymore, I refuse to renew my membership. Anyway, I was at the convention that they had up there, way up there in Atlanta, and I was sitting in the 5th row, and I remember him coming up to the podium, says, no one's gonna protect your guns rights than me. I got you. No one's gonna be bored. Don't worry about your guns. Don't worry about your guns. He has been the most anti-gun president in U.S. history. So after that, I realized, I see that politicians will tell us what we want to hear, but then once they get in office, they change their tune. I don't want, and last thing I want to say is, in reference to DeSantis, Florida, don't give up DeSantis. He is an awesome mayor. But for some reason, I believe that when people get into the office, they are not really in control.
I realize that. That's what I think happened with Trump. I mean, I think he did believe a lot of things he said, but the problem is the deep state's so large, he's being thwarted at every angle. And people he thought were his allies weren't his allies. They're working for the deep state and against him. And so everything he wants to got caught up. And what he tried to do is he tried to appease other Republicans. He tried to appease the establishment Republicans, which is probably a good move to make from a negotiating standpoint. And say, hey, Republicans, I know that I'm wild and crazy and like people think I might be a danger to the party. Well, let's work on tax reform. You guys love that, right? Okay, I can get on board with that. Let's do that first. And then we can start doing some things I like. Get you guys a W first. He gave them a W, which gave all of us W's. It was a good thing. But then nothing really much happened after that. And again, we have different opinion. I do think that he was genuine. I don't want him to run again. And I want DeSantis to run. But did you see that?
I don't want him to run again. I don't want him to run
Have you seen
again
that new
either.
poll about did you see the new poll? It was only 500 Republicans that they polled, so I was doubtful of these results. But you'd be interested. The poll about who Republicans want to run in 2024, and Trump obviously led the list, so it's 58% or something like that, right? But they asked when Trump, if Trump did not run, who do you want
They're gonna say
to run?
DeSantis, right? Yeah.
No, that's what I thought. Okay, the first place. This is why I don't believe it. You're not gonna believe this. Mike Pence. Mike Pence. This is a real. I promise you, this is a real survey. And I was like, no way, no way. It was Mike Pence, and then I think I
What?
think
This
DeSantis
is why
might have
I
been
don't listen
second.
to polls, dude. This is why I don't look at polls. Are you serious?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know any Republican. I'm not saying Mike Pence wouldn't be a good president. I mean,
He
other
would
people
be
I
a
won
good
over
president
him.
because,
Yeah,
believe it or not,
but
I know
he,
people don't like
yeah,
Daddy Pence, but
yeah,
Daddy Pence is a real Republican. But he is
yeah,
not
yeah.
popular.
Exactly. That's why I was like, I don't understand this. Maybe it was only because it was 500 people, and I don't know. I don't know anyone that's like gung ho about Mike Pence. Again,
No.
I'd definitely vote for him and I'd
Oh,
support him,
I'll
but
vote for him too.
yeah, I'll love for him to run if other people weren't running, right? But yeah, I think DeSantis was second. People still want, I mean, people like Ted Cruz. I like Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio is up there for some reason.
Ugh, not Marco,
A-
not little Rubio. What little
After he
Rubio
did with
gonna
the
do?
after doing the Gang of Eight, I can't because that's immigration is such an important issue. You can't have Rubio there. Nikki Haley was there, but yeah, Mike Pence. So it sounds
Holy
like I'm lying. I'm
smoke.
saying this. I'm like, did I really read this earlier? I'm
Oh my
gonna
God.
fact check
See, and
myself. Someone in the
y'all want to
comments
know
fact
why
check
I
me.
don't take polls seriously.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I think DeSantis is probably one of the most best governors that Florida has ever had. And it's going to be up to the governors to protect us from tyrannical leaders like President Biden. But let's go ahead
Yeah.
and because I want to get into the Gabby
Oh yeah,
thing.
sorry. Getting
And
off topic.
let's go ahead and look at these two videos here in reference to
Yeah.
the Haitian invasion. So around 4 a.m., Haitian migrants released into the U.S. sleeping outside the Del Rio airport awaiting flights to Florida. Migrants did not tell us who paid the flights. I got another video too.
That's the Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We do have, little Haiti here.
Yeah, y'all got a lot of Haitians there.
Yeah.
And who overwhelmingly voted for Clinton and Biden. Okay, I think.
Yeah.
And then here we go. So here's your anchor babies here. I got that over here in this one right here. This is just nothing but pictures. And so while I was
Yeah.
boarding my flight out of Texas, I talked with migrants, all from Haiti, getting ready to head to the Florida, Orlando, New York, and Maryland. Baby Mateo was born 5 days age in Del Rio. So here we have some.
American citizens just like you and me now. They could vote, they control our democracy just as much as we do. How could you really have a democracy if you're letting everyone come in and vote? I mean, by definition, a republic, but we don't have a republic where the citizens don't have control of the government. If
Right.
we're allowing non-citizens, whether, technically citizen or not, have control, then we don't really have a country.
So Maxine Waters, oh my God. I need to give you guys a trigger warning. Low IQ Mad Maxine came up and just made this about slavery. And first they had the narrative that the Border Patrol, who's under Biden, by the way. Now, who do you think, chat, I want you to type in the chat. By the way, those of you who are listening in other chats, if you want to be able to type and participate, come over to YouTube, to Treehouse News. We have our live chat right here. All the other chats have been disabled because we can only monitor one chat. So I want you to tell me who Mad Maxine blamed for all of this. Can you give me a hint? Type in the chat who you think she blamed for what's happening at the border right now. No. Not only what's happening at the border right now, but why the Haitians are being mistreated by the Border Patrol. There you go. She blamed Trump. It's always Trump. Even though Trump's not in office, it's Trump's fault. These people got TDS on a whole new level. So let's go ahead and listen to what this Battle Axe has to say. Let's play it. Here we go.
I want to thank Yvette Clarke, and I want to thank Ms. Beatty for the leadership that they're providing on this issue. I'm pissed. I'm unhappy, and I'm not just unhappy with the cowboys who were running down Haitians and using their reins to whip them. I'm happy with the administration.
Okay, first of all, They're
Iron
not
Chain.
cowboys. They are border patrol agents. You know what is that? There's that section on the horse is called something. That's part of the border patrol.
Section.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. But those reins never touch one Haitian. They can't produce one video where a Haitian was hit with the reins. First they said that they were hit with whips. Then when and y'all know what I know a whip looked like. I said, those are not whips. Those are reins, okay? Or I thought they was lassos, but somebody told me the technical term is called reins. Not one Haitian was hit with those reins. Second of all, they're criminals. They were committing a crime. So you mean to tell me that the Border Patrol once again, the Border Patrol did not hit any of them, but they were committing a crime. You're not going to hold them accountable for breaking the law? Isn't that just the case for anybody who's in America? Black people commit crime. We're going to ignore that and just blame the poor authority. In this case, instead of it being the police officers, it's the Border Patrol.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I take a step farther, and I think maybe this is what you're hinting at. I'm okay with Border Patrol going and whipping people who are trying to break into our country.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's not what happened.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
They're extremely humane with what they do. I shouldn't use the word humane. It's not humane to us to let 15,000 people in at the same time who don't deserve to be here, didn't do the process, right? But yeah, we need some deterrent for people coming in. If people started getting whipped, a lot less people would come in. Literally, right? And so it just takes a couple whippings. That's it. And a couple whippings of people, and then no more people coming across the southern border.
For me, I'm going to think differently. I'm not going to involve the horses. Instead, I'm going to have a barricade, and then I'm going to have my paintball gun.
Yeah.
Rubber bullet city, baby. Rubber bullets. Rubber bullets will be more effective than horses. That way, the horses ain't got to worry about getting corona because none of these people are tested, and none of these people, they know they're Corona City, and then therefore, all you got to do is, let me tell you something. Rubber bullets are very effective. I've seen the Australian police use it. I'm not laughing at what's going on in Australia, but Australia, how you have given up your gun rights now? Yeah.
I think these migrants can get past rubber bullets. Maybe they've proved themselves. Maybe
won't.
that's like a good test.
The reason why I know they won't get over rubber bullets, how do you think they have been dealing with them in Haiti? I have been watching the riots. And by the way, I just want y'all to know, stop saying, oh, well, their president was assassinated. They wanted to kill their own president, the president. They said that he was in position for too long. I'm so tired of people making excuses for that country. They resent white people. They don't like you. They glorify the fact that they had a slavery revolt. But you have a slavery revolt, but you coming over to other colonized countries. Which one is it? You hate colonizers, or you want to come to where colonizers are in a colonized country? Right. You can't have it both ways. You can't celebrate getting rid of colonizers and then come to a colonized country to be around colonizers. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. I mean, like, if you have a sort of colonial history, then you have a sort of framework for a government that could work, right? They had like the groundwork for a society, but and I know that there's a lot of natural disasters that do take a toll. But Haiti has been able to build itself. And a lot of them are just, like a lot of countries now, are just giving up with their own country and saying, no, screw that.
But they're not coming over here to turn our country. I can't say turn our country. They're not going to come over here and turn certain cities into Haiti 2.0.
They are. That's what you mean? I mean, they shouldn't, but they are.
No, they should not.
Of course, yeah, but they're going to do that. I mean, listen, if you're Haitian, and it makes sense, if you're in Florida, do you go to where I am in Pasco County? No, you go down to Miami, you go to Little Haiti, like that's where you go. And then your enclave gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Slowly starts taking over.
All right, let's finish listening to what she got to say.
We are following the Trump policy. He is the one that does not follow the Constitution and would not allow those seeking refuge to be able to petition to get into the country. What the hell are we doing here? What we witnessed takes us back hundreds of years. What we witnessed was worse than what we witnessed in slavery.
Slavery! Hey, listen, in order for the Democrats to have a narrative, they always got to bring it back to slavery. What the Haitians did is nothing connected to slavery. If it was, because let me tell you, the bell curve is a lie. If it was connected to slavery, wouldn't the Haitians run away from America instead of to the slave masters? If we are the country of slavery, why are they coming to the slave masters instead of running away from Massa? No, they're running to Massa. Please, Massa, give me some free clothes. Give me some free food. Give me a free shelter. Give me some free money. I love you. I love you, Massa. No. If you want to be, if you want to really connect it to slaves, they're supposed to be running someplace like Canada to seek refuge from the slave master. So this is nothing like slavery. Get your fact together.
There's stuff together there, pal. I think like public education these days, I always make this point. Public education, when it comes to history, they teach two things. They teach slavery and the Holocaust. And so guess what happens? Every time the people make an analogy, it's always like, it's like slavery. It's like the Nazis. Even the right does this, right? They go, oh, vaccine passports. Oh, it's just like the Nazis, right? Oh, you're gonna wear a wristband to get into a baseball field. It's the same thing as getting your wrist tattooed. It's like, well, I don't like the restrictions, but I don't know if it's exactly the same thing as that.
No, it's not.
Because our public education is so bad that we only could compare it to two things. Is what it seems like.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, I'm gonna try to get through this. She triggers the mess out of me. Oh my God.
Who's worse, her AOC in terms of triggering? I think AOC does it a little bit more. Oh, she got you more.
No.
AOC has a slight
I
lead.
know AOC is basically flossing for clicks. You know what I'm saying? See, AOC does not ignite. See, black people don't really listen to AOC, but they listen to Auntie Maxine.
That's why I don't like her. I think that AOC, the thing I don't like about her is that she's more pompous and arrogant. You could tell she thinks she's so intelligent. I think Maxine Waters knows she's dumb, but she doesn't care. She doesn't seem to care
that's
about
a dangerous person. When you give an ignorant person like this a really low, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that to be mean. Maxine is very low IQ. When you give somebody like that a platform to talk to other crazy, ignorant people, then therefore this is how you get riots, this is how you get theft, this is how you get a lot of crime. You know what I'm saying? Criminals are not listening to AOC. They're listening to Maxine. That's who they're listening to.
Cowboys with their reins again whipping black people.
They were not whipping anybody.
Haitians into the water where they're scrambling and falling down. When
this did not happen, by the way.
All they're trying to do is escape from violence in their country. Yes, it is unfortunate that it is the poorest country in this hemisphere. It is unfortunate that they have no stable government right now. It is unfortunate that they've had to live through earthquakes. I've been working with Haitians for 30 years. I've been working through 2 coups d'etat. I went to the Central African Republic and I brought back Aristide after he was exiled into the Central African Republic. They have always been between Canada and France and the United States treated worse than anybody else.
Hold on, I gotta say this. Hold on. For those of you in my chat who are black, you all remember there is this, and it's told by our grandparents that the reason why we have a lot of hurricanes and tornadoes and that they die out before they get to Canada is that it is the spirits of the African ancestors coming to pay revenge, to be vengeful for all of the slavery times, and that Canada is where the spirits stop because that was the refuge where a lot of slaves were escape and go to the north so that they can escape slavery. How come that don't apply to Haiti? Could it not be that all of the colonizers' spirits are coming back in another form of a hurricane or earthquake to come back and to take upon vengeance of what you did to their ancestors? I mean, it could go both ways. I'm just saying, it could go both ways. I just thought about it like
hurricanes hit Cuba and Haiti more. It also hits Florida, and Florida was not really that famous for a huge slave trade there. People were only there because Well, I guess I don't really know why it wasn't that big there, but it was other states. Why
Facts
Florida?
facts don't matter to the black community when it comes to folk
Yeah.
tales.
I don't like this whole entire thing with like about how we owe people and like we've done so bad to Haiti. It's like we give Haiti a lot of aid. We give a lot of countries a lot of aid, and we don't owe other countries anything.
Mm-mm,
And it's
mm-mm.
always like, what are we gonna do next for them? Like what? And like, it's treated bad by Canada. What does Canada have to do with Haiti? Like why is Canada's a small country too? I mean,
Because
same
a
in
lot of
geography
Haitians go there. They go because
because of the French.
Canada, yeah,
Yeah,
because they speak the
yeah.
French language.
Well, why does
So,
that matter for Canada? They go there. Oh, so Canada's doing good for them if they're allowing them in, right?
well, I mean, to me, if she wants to sustain her argument, then why not just go ahead and tell Trudeau to just let them in there since they're trying to come up in here. They're not trying to break down a
I'd support
Canadian
that.
border. They're trying to break down our border.
It's too cold in Canada. Too cold.
That's why they're
Sounds like
sending them
Haiti
down
to
there
Canada.
to Florida.
It's
As
nice
long
down
as they
here.
don't come to Georgia, we okay.
And
Hey,
so, yes, we are here and we're organized and we're saying to the president and everybody else, you got to stop this madness. And I want to know in the first
Hold on,
place,
hold on.
who's
I'm
paying
glad
these cowboys?
she admitted, but she won't say Biden's name. She's like, the president stopped his madness. So I'm glad she's recognizing that this is Biden's doing. Oh, hold on. Here
To
we go.
do this work. They've got to be gotten rid of. They've gotten to be stopped. It cannot go on. And so I thank all of you for being here today. Write the story. Tell the story about what is going on. And let people know that they're trying to take us back
lies. Spread
to
it.
slavery days and worse than
Uh,
that. And the
who's
children
they? Biden's
who
administration
are
is what they're saying.
unfortunate to be in this
She won't say
situation
it.
must be allowed
Yeah.
into the United States immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but immediately.
What I hate about Democrats is they always act like the system is white supremacist and evil and all that. It's like, no, you guys run the system, right? It's like no, that's you guys.
If this
This is
was
all
Trump,
your policies that
if
you're
this was
doing.
Trump, all they would be talking about is Trump is racist. This is what Trump's doing. And she won't even utter that old crippled bastard, that child sniffing man's name. You know what I'm saying? She won't even utter
Yeah.
his name. She will not say Biden. This is
Mhm.
Biden's presidency. This is Biden's administration. And guess what? That's Biden's border patrol agents. So therefore, you guys are the side of the ones who are always oppressing blacks. Why would this be any different?
Yeah, and right now Biden is not talking about this, not doing anything about this. I think Kamala Harris, the borders are, but Biden's right now at the UN talking about the sun monster and talking about how the world's going to melt or something like that. That's all he's doing right now because that's their priorities here, not defending the country.
Okay. All right. So let's
We can
get
move on.
to oh my, we are not gonna you know what? We may not even have that long to talk about Gabby, but I knew it was gonna take
A
hold
little
on.
bit.
Let me get to the article section here for a second. Hold on a second. Jen Sucky Sucky. I love using that name on her. But she was asked this question and she avoided it. So go to, well, as we
Oh,
can,
really?
yeah, as you can
Just circle
see,
back.
Miss Circle Back, but she doesn't even answer the question. So let's go into here. Click on that last link, and it should open up this video by Chris. What is this? I can't pronounce that last name, dude. What's it? How you pronounce his last name? Hawk?
Drink's a little small. Hope. I don't know. You got me there. I don't
Okay.
know.
So, this is what happened when she's asked specific questions about how many people are at the border, how many have left, and everything like that. This woman is a queen at deflecting and answering the questions without answering the questions. So let's go ahead and listen to that.
Mayorkas has now been asked twice on the Hill, and he's not been able to provide an answer to this. So I want to ask you, do you have the numbers? How many Haitians have been deported? How many have been processed? And how many have been allowed to stay in the United States?
I certainly understand why you're asking and understand why people have been asking Secretary Mayorkas. Those are numbers that are the Department of Homeland Security would have the most up-to-date numbers.
But why is it so hard to keep track of a simple number like that? Why can't you give it? Why can't he give it? It's been 2 days now he's been asked.
I'm certain they will provide it. It's an absolutely fair question to ask, and I'm certain he just wanted to have the most up-to-date numbers to provide.
I want to ask
So you see how she just deflects and Well, I'm sure that's a great question to ask, but I'm afraid we just don't have the answers for you. Would not be acceptable what's Mama I used to call her Mama Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
What's her name? I'm blanking on her name
What is
now.
her first name?
It
I
was
used to
such a
call her
long time
Mama
ago.
Sanders, but I forgot what's her first name. She took no
But yeah,
mess from these people.
well, Trump has some good press secretaries. Yeah, a lot of them. Jen Psaki never answers the question. I mean, look, ask her, okay, how many Haitians have been deported? I don't know, ask another department. Okay, how many Americans are still left in Afghanistan? I don't know, ask another department.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't know anything relevant. If you ask them, how many people of color do you have in the cabinet? Oh, we actually have 7, and these are the names, and we are very proud. We have 3 transgenders. We have
True.
this. They know that's about that, but like Americans, how many Americans are left in Afghanistan? I don't know the exact number. Why would I know that?
Yeah,
It's like, I don't
Sarah
know. This
Sanders.
might be
The
important.
chat is telling us Sarah Sanders, Mama Sarah
Thank you, chat.
Sanders. Yeah, that's who it was. See, they would never let Sarah Sanders get away with this. They really wouldn't. They really wouldn't. So there's that. Okay, so listen, we want to talk. We may have to go over a little bit, but I do want to spend a little time talking about the Gabby situation. But I want to show you guys. So let's go to the next video. And hold on. This is Crowder. And as you all know, Steven Crowder is a big YouTuber. And he has people that go and do investigations for him. Now, one of the things I used to say about Crowder until I saw this video is that he was good at fact checking. Not so much in this video. Unfortunately, he goes by the narrative according to the police report instead of actually doing either he do the due diligence or he actually have somebody who knows what they're doing do due diligence. As you all saw on the video that I did earlier, I showed you receipts of the actual 911 phone call that the witness placed into the dispatcher saying that Gabby was being punched in the face and grabbed and locked out of her own car. And then it was told by the dispatcher to the police that it was Brian being hit and scratched and slapped, but locked out of it, but he got into the car to get away from Gabby. So you understand that even though, and by the way, when I first watched the video, I believed that this was the narrative that they was told too. So I didn't know the real truth. But when I saw the video, regardless of what they said that's the reason why it was called, I looked at the signs of Gabby and I can see a clear abuse victim. But I want you to listen to this narrative and that Steven Crowder is saying here. So let's listen to it.
So,
Oh, wow.
to be clear about this too, Laundrie was listed as the victim in the police report. So this is a matter of record. We have the sources available at loudwithcrowder.com. Instead of charging Gabby Petito with domestic violence, they put him in a hotel and her in a van for the night. Now, here's a point, okay? This is the problem with not holding people accountable for their actions, whether they're black, white, men, or women, right? A woman commits domestic violence here. She should be treated the same as a man. Had the roles been reversed and that man abused Gabby Petito, guess what? Would have been arrested and the scenario wouldn't have continued.
Yeah. I don't want to make this claim, but I don't know if they had seen a woman with a bloodied face, if she would have had any say in the arrest happening.
No, usually it doesn't
Wouldn't
matter
have-
whether you want to press charges
at all. It would have
No,
been
that's
like, hey,
movie
we're
stuff.
taking you into custody, and maybe they end up releasing them
Right.
later, but they have to, I think. I don't know. Somebody can comment and tell us if that's
In other words, had this bureaucratic wing of the police, had they treated her the way she should have been treated, just like if
should
she
have
were a
been
man, as
treated.
opposed to lower standards, arrest. And that stops this from heading on down the trail to the tragedy that we've seen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's bullshit. Let me tell you something. If Gabby would have been put in jail and she got out, she would have still been killed. If he was put in jail and got out, she would have still been killed. But the fact is, that's not my problem with this. My problem with this is that why can't people like this do their due diligence? Why is it that I'm nowhere near his numbers, and I don't intend on being, because I don't want to get to this point where I'm that lazy and I can't even search the internet to see what is the real truth behind the story. And as you all know, because I played it on the video, Okay? Gabby was the victim here. And if he even took the time, which I doubt that he actually sat there and watched her demeanor, and then again, maybe Crowder don't know what an abused woman looks like. I would have to say, I would give him that credit because I had police training. Also, growing up in the hood, I've seen a lot of abused women. So I know their demeanor. The first thing they do is, if you notice about Gabby, when Gabby got caught, Gabby is bawling. What is Brian, the narcissist, is doing? He all cool and calm and laughing and everything, like trying to be friendly. That is not what if Brian was really, which he wasn't, if Brian was really the victim of domestic abuse, he would not be like, yeah, what's up? He would not be like, yeah, hi, you know, I mean, she got a little crazy. You know, no, that's what narcissistic men do. Narcissistic women do that too. They're very calm while the other person's hysterical. So if you saw Gabby's body language, Gabby was just frightened. When women have been abused, they cover themselves and they lean over to basically protect their body, their core right here, because they feel humiliated, they feel defeated, and therefore they make themselves tiny so that they can be ignored. This is how you can tell she's been abused for years. I'm saying you was gonna say something.
Let me just say, I haven't watched underlying video. I always try to stay away from like the local cases of something happening in the news. So I don't really know what Stephen Crowder is saying, and I'm gonna trust your judgment over it. But one other thing I'll say is this: like, yeah, your police training is one thing, and this police officer should be able to read those cues better.
Yeah.
But also, I think that women are naturally better at recognizing subtle cues in other people than men are not. That men might recognize them, but it might not fully translate what they mean. So I think women can see this and go, "Oh, I understand how she's feeling." And once you understand how someone's feeling, once you empathize a little bit, then you start thinking, "Oh, wait a second. What if this is actually different than what is being portrayed, right? What if there's something else going on here?" And that starts to lead you to think, right? And if you don't notice those subtle cues, then that's harder to come to that conclusion, right? And so I think that women naturally have this ability, and maybe that's why that's why maybe this story is so popular, is that some people see it one way, some people say another way.
Yeah, and absolutely, that's perfectly put, because Stephen is just looking at a police report where I actually sat there and watched the entire police webcam before it blew up, by the way, because I left a link. If you guys go to that channel, you will see that those who are subscribed to my third channel, you sat there and saw me go through the entire thing before we realized she had died, and before everybody started going crazy over the story. I said, hey guys, there was the two reasons I wanted to talk about this story. One, Gabby was portrayed as the villain, where she is the victim. And I was showing my chat, like, look, she's blaming herself. She's talking too much. And the reason why Gabby kept saying, oh, you know, I got OCD and sometimes I'm a little mean. Like, she took total responsibility. A narcissistic asshole never takes responsibility. It's never their fault. It's always your fault. You're the problem, they're the cure, they're the solution, they're fine, you're the one with the issues. And if you've seen an abused victim, they are very scared of what's going to happen when the cops are not there. So when she's crying and basically bawling, she's like, oh no, I'm going to get him in trouble. That's what she's saying in her head. She's like, oh no, he's, oh my God, he's really going to blame me, because if the police put him in jail, then he's really going to get me. He's really going to hit me. So they basically make it about themselves so that when the police are no longer there, that is less abuse on them, either emotionally or physically. Because a lot of times when a man physically and emotionally abuses a woman and he goes to jail, that woman is scared to death to see it. And this is the reason why we have temporary protection order, because when he comes back, she's scared to death of actually being punished for him going to jail for something he did to her. I'm just sitting here saying, how the hell did anybody, but no, like BJ said, men look at it differently than women. And I have three things on my side. One, I grew up in the hood, so I've seen a gazillion abused women, so I know the patterns, I know the symptoms. Two, I have police training in domestic violence. And three, I know body language, and therefore I saw exactly, and I'm a woman, so I can basically, I can't relate to getting hit by no man, but I can see what others can't see, whereas as men are not looking at it that way.
when you're explaining it, like when you're explaining body language, that makes a lot of sense and how you're explaining it. Because you can learn to read body language a little more. I mean, like that's a weird example, but like we could teach people with Asperger's to read social cues, right? So this is what this means. They can slowly start to learn, right? So that's kind of a weird example, but a part of police training should be okay. This is what abuse victims look like,
Yeah.
right? This is what they act like. Even if they say one thing, it might be completely different than actually what's going on, right? And so that's definitely something in your favor that I'm surprised that again I haven't watched underlying video, so I don't know exactly what this is. But I'm surprised. Did you say that the cops something to do with like MGTOW or something like
Yeah,
that?
there was three cops involved. The one who
Right.
pulled up on the scene, what I call him the good cop. Because apparently he's the one who's happily married, and he's the one who who decided not to put Gabby in jail. And like I said, I want you guys to understand, jail does not stop somebody from killing you, because you got to get out of jail eventually, okay? So stop thinking that if he went to jail or she went. By the way, he should have went to jail because he actually absolutely abused her. But understand that Gabby has Stockholm syndrome, and she, even if he went to jail, she would have got back with him and he would have killed her anyway. This man is evil. But anyway, so you had that police officer who was very sympathetic to her, very caring. He can see that she was an abused person, so he separated her and put it in the back of his SUV squad car. Brian was praised by this cop who has this beard, bald head, who got divorced, and he was like, yeah, man, when he was talking to Gabby and was talking to Brian, he made it an issue to tell both of them that he has an ex-wife of 5 years. He was married for 5 years, and now his wife is now his ex-wife. So he knows how women are. When you have a bad traumatic experience with women, and you don't get any psychological training, counseling for that, and you don't get over that, you will imprint that on other women. And this is the reason why you women have to be careful of dealing with men like this.
I mean, it's really both sexes, right? I mean, something like divorce is terrible. Even like a bad breakup can really, ruin your image of the opposite sex for the future. And it really takes understanding like, no, everyone's an individual, and you can't look into their whole entire sex like what your ex did.
It's to me, I think stuff that's so easy for me to detect, it's not easy for other women. And that's the reason why, guys, I have ladies, just go to my third channel, Just Tree 411. I actually teach women about these cues. I teach you how you'll never see a video and you never heard me complain about some man beating up on me or some man mistreating me. I've never picked those type of men. Now, in a lot of women's defense, I was raised by my father from 11 on up. So that is in my favor. So I will give credit to that. Okay. So that is something that has affected Gabby in her life because her parents are divorced. And I don't know when the stepdad got in, but he seems like a good father also. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't want to talk on that yet. I wanted to just lick on the fact that the Officer MGTOW looked at Brian and said, you know what, dude, you got all those scratches on you. You're the victim. And Brian was like, and looked away like, holy shit, I got away with this. If you look at that video, when the MGTOW, I call him Officer MGTOW. When Officer MGTOW said, dude, I'm just going to let you know, you're the victim. Now, a real victim, a real male, and I've seen them when I was a police officer, a male who's a real victim of domestic abuse from a woman would not smile. He would be like, and they'll either hold their head in shame and agree with you like this, or they'll just be unhappy, or what I have seen a lot, by the way, I've seen just a small few go, shake their head, yes. But you know what most of these men do who are victim of domestic abuse? They take the L. No, she's not the abuser. I'm telling you, I did this. See, this is what happened. She didn't hit me. See, the reason why I got the scratch is not from her face. It's from the scissors I had, and I scratched. They sit up here and make excuses for her ass beating him. They take that L to make sure she don't go to jail.
Embarrassing.
Brian
Yeah.
didn't do any of this. He didn't do any of that. He was like, ha ha, yeah, I got one on her now. Ha ha, I got something else to shame her with, to make her more submissive to me with. I got something to throw back in her face with. Narcissistic people are famous for that. Men and women, he's right. I need to be fair. Men and women do this. They throw, if they're narcissistic, they will throw, these people don't have no emotions. And one last thing. I want you guys to understand when you get pulled over by the police, all right, and you just got in a fight, are you going to be calm like that? Are you, like, seriously, I want the men to sit up here and think like, yeah, I'm going to be all nice and friendly and ha ha ha, kiki-kiing with the police officer and, you know, you all cool and whatever. That doesn't happen. But unless you're a narcissistic butthole. If you're narcissistic, that will happen a lot because these people are emotionalists. But if you are in an emotional fight with your girlfriend, whether you're the victim or the villain, and you're not narcissistic, you're going to be upset when the police show up because guess what? Somebody going to jail. Huh?
Yeah, if you're concerned about the other person at all, it's not a happy situation.
Right.
Because whoever's fault it is, if you care about that person, then you don't want the person going to jail. You don't want that person get in trouble, so you don't laugh about that. Even after you get into a fight.
When Officer McTowell told him, all right, you the victim, so we're going to send her to jail, Brian said nothing. He was like, okay, all right. Yeah. But a man who's supposed to love you, now remember, they're supposed to be fiancés, okay? What kind of POS would sit up here and go, oh, okay, yeah, take her to jail? No. This is another way to get one up on her. Now he got a figure of authority who's going to punish her and just as much as he punished her. So now everybody gets the big, oh my God, the more I think about it, the more angry I get. It's like that poor girl, she had like, the only person she had on her side was the police officer who decided not to victimize her. But I will have to still hold Gabby accountable because Gabby, like most women in these situations, they have been broken down. They suffer from Stockholm syndrome, and they feel like that they can change these crazy, dangerous men with love and understanding and patience.
When you go into a relationship with these rose-colored glasses on, it's easy to look past those qualities, right? And to think, okay, maybe I can change them. And then after a while, you're in too deep and you're in love with the person, and then you miss this abusive relationship.
Yeah. And when you're so insecure, when he has just basically destroyed her self-esteem, she cannot get away from her abuser. And this is what's a clear-cut state of Stockholm syndrome. Brian didn't admit to any wrongdoing whatsoever, including locking her out of her own van. It's her van. They are living in that van. If he keeps her stranded, where is she going to eat? Where is she going to sleep? Where is she going to go? She don't have her phone. It's all about control. And I'm going to tell you one last thing, and then we're gonna okay, we're not that far.
One more last thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you one last. Here's the thing, you guys gotta understand, ladies. If you don't know if you're around a narcissistic man or not, you know what I'm saying? See if he's trying to make you worthless and useless without him. That is the key. That is the key. You can be fair, but how will he, if he's trying to use like, you're nothing without me. You'll never do this without me. And don't forget when she was crying and said, he doesn't believe in me. He don't think I could do my vlog. And then when he got out, what did he do? He poo-pooed her project by saying, yeah, she's trying to do her little vlog. I saw that video on her channel. It's still up, by the way. Her YouTube channel and her, I haven't gone to her Instagram lately, but her YouTube channel is still up. That was a lot of editing. And I was like, how the hell was this a little vlog? I was like, this is so entertaining. And he knew that if she become a big YouTuber, he is done. So, all right. Okay, you want to say any closing words before we go into...
No, I thought we were doing the super chats before we go into the...
Okay, let's see, hold on. Okay, we only got one from Busta Grime, $2. Auntie Waters did everything in every time period. Auntie Waters did everything in every time period. So thank you guys for that. And listen, if you guys want to go ahead and donate, you're not going to disrupt the chat. You're not going to disrupt our flow. We will read it because I know a lot of you are thinking like you don't want to donate because you're going to interrupt our flow. That's not the case. These are kept silent and I read them after each hour. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead to the pre-recorded interview that we have with E.T. Williams. You want to stick around for this. And then when it's over, we're going to come back. And if you guys make any super chats or donations, we'll read that off and then we'll sign off. Okay. So, and I'm going to talk with you guys in the chat. I'm got to go get some water first, and then we'll be right back together. So get ready to see a great show.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah. Enjoy this next guest. It's a good segment.
Yeah, it is a really good segment. So we'll see you guys as soon as this segment is over. This is a pre-recorded video that we have with E.T. Williams. Enjoy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bear and Tree Show. I'm Tree and
And Bear Jew, aka BJ.
all right, and I told you I was going to surprise you guys. You've been asking about him. I told you, I was like, okay, I'm going to reach out to him and I'm going to bring him on. We have E.T., aka the Doctor of Common Sense. Thank you so much for coming by.
Glad to be being with you guys, Tree and Bear. Glad to be joining you guys.
So listen, let's get to like how you've been, because a lot of people are going to want to know what you've been up to, how you've been since YouTube, kick you off the platform. So can you just go back and let us know, what happened afterwards, and then where you are now and how you've been?
Oh, I've been great. YouTube kicked me off for the simple reason is they didn't want me speaking about certain topics, and I wouldn't tone it down, so they kicked me off. Just luckily that wasn't my only source of revenue.
Good.
When they kicked me off, because I had a career long before YouTube, so I've been doing other things, and I still do videos on my website. And believe it or not, Facebook is the only platform that hasn't actually kicked me off.
Why? Do you think it's because you're under the radar? Because I was surprised, because I'm subscribed to you.
Well, no, it's not. I tried to tell everybody this, and nobody would listen to me. But it's going to get worse, because when they kicked me off initially, everybody said, well, they kick you off because you use profanity. Everybody knew that was bull.
No, that wasn't true.
It had nothing to do. I said, look at some of the other videos on YouTube. They show porn. I even went over to, if you ever heard of World Star Hip Hop?
Yes, of course.
I got kicked off their platform. Man, go look at some of the trash on their platform.
God,
they kicked me off that. And you know who else kicked me off? Vivo. I got kicked off Vivo. And the sad part about Vivo is I had a private platform on Vivo.
I did too. And they kicked me off. Yeah, I paid for it too. They refunded me my money back, and they kicked me off.
Even on Facebook, maybe I saw a fan page, but didn't your first account get deleted? Because, so you have a second account on Facebook then.
Well, what happened is that somebody hacked my first Doctor of Common Sense, and Facebook pretended like they couldn't do anything about it. Even though I'm the only one who's ever posted. I'm the only one who's ever posted on that site. So I asked them, I say, hey, I'm the only guy throughout 5-6 years. I'm the only one ever posted on there. Nobody posts on there but me. How can you not figure out who's posting on there? Come on.
Yeah.
And they never gave it to me back.
Getting banned is a compliment. Tree is this close to getting banned off YouTube and all the platforms. She probably will by next week. So.
Yeah, I got one strike, and then I got a second strike for 7 days. And I'll talk in code for you. I got the strike for medical misinformation, but all I talked about was a pastor in California exercising his First Amendment rights.
As much as I said it, Facebook still censors people, but the worst thing Facebook has really done to me is that they don't allow me to earn any money on there, but they didn't kick me off. The rest of them took my money. They took my money and took me off. So it's even worse on some of the other platforms.
You didn't get your ad money or any of the what?
Facebook owes me money right now. I don't know how many thousands they owe me, but believe me, they owe me money right now, and they won't pay me.
Oh, I hate to hear that. Oh my goodness. But I've been a part of your community on Facebook, and do you think this is like a blessing in disguise, because you have something I do envy. You have some loyal people who love you and are there for you through thick and thin. They will follow you wherever you go.
Yeah, so I got to give a shout out to the Common Sense Nation. That's what we call them. The Common Sense Nation. These people support me. They've supported me. A lot of them are actually joined, because we actually have a pay site on my website, commonsensennation.net. And it is a pay subscribe. You got to pay to look at the videos.
Yeah.
But I have loyal followers who actually follow me in whatever I do on Facebook or on the website, because we do a podcast on Wednesday. And believe it or not, I actually do a spiritual broadcast on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that makes them even madder, because they said we tried to get them to shut up by not saying certain things, but I got this note for everybody. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better, because there's a quote. Now everybody likes to quote different people, but I think it was Dr. King who actually said this, and the left loves to quote Dr. King. It was him who says, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends."
Oh,
See, it's the silence. By being silent, there is no such thing as being neutral. Everybody thinks it is, but there ain't but two sides. It's good and evil. So if you choose to be neutral, by default, you're choosing the side with the evil, because the old saying is, what does good people have to do for evil to prosper? Do nothing. Because all you got to do is shut your mouth and do nothing. And when you don't speak, you're siding with the bad people. Whether you say it or not. I tell my own kids this. My kids are grown now. And I bet they get tired of me preaching to them, because I tell them the exact same thing. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. When my youngest son, he was going to school. I can't remember what grade he was in. It was when Barack Obama was nominated, first nominated. And I told the principal they was going to have this special event at the auditorium for Barack Obama. And I told the principal and the teacher, you better not let my son go down there to the auditorium. We're going to have a
because they was going to use them, right?
This is what she tried to do. She tried to throw a guilt trip on me. She says, well, Mr. Williams, the other kids is going to be looking at him. He's going to be an outcast. I said, this is my exact words to the principal. I said, I don't give a damn what about an outcast. He's got to learn to stand on his own and stick up for what's right, regardless what. And I said, it ain't that I don't like Barack Obama because he's never done anything wrong. He's never done anything. And I can name the things he haven't done. So I said, now, if you want to talk about that, ma'am, we can talk about that. She says, no, we don't discuss politics. I said, what do you mean you don't discuss politics?
And what you do? You do it for Obama.
You're indoctrinating. You're indoctrinating the kids right now on a man who's never accomplished anything, by the way.
Oh my God!
Politics is culture, right? And so they'll push the culture, which is their politics. No. We're just talking about Barack Obama first of all. That's not politics. That's historic. Sorry. I thought it was political.
Hey, Barry, you just nailed it. That's what she tried to say. That she said this is an historical event. She's got real proper on me. She said this is a historical event. This is what he's the first African American. I said, you got that right because he's from Kenya. I said, so I'm sure he is the first African. I said, but tell me his accomplishment besides his skin color, because your skin color is not an accomplishment. You didn't have a choice of what skin color you're going to be. So I don't understand why anybody apologizes for skin color, because you had nothing to do with it.
Right.
It's not an accomplishment. Show me your accomplishment and stop talking about your skin color.
Oh man, hit the nail on the head. You know, you called your nation, because I call my loyal followers taters, and yours called the Common Sense Nation.
Yeah, the Common Sense Nation.
What's up, Common Sense Nation? And by the way, my taters, please go on over there to Facebook. I'll have all his links available in the description box as well as the pinned comment. Go over there, my taters. Go ahead and join the Common Sense Nation. You know the biggest thing, and we'll talk about we'll get into more emphasis on how it's getting bad. But one of the biggest things that I missed was the comedy. The reason why you are a threat and you had to go was because you were funny.
No, they don't like you making fun of them. I found that out a long time ago. The worst thing you can do is make fun of them. So when they tell me not to do something, I just start saying, this is comedy. I'm making fun of you by actually laughing at you. Like I laugh at Joe Biden all the time now. I used to make fun of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama about her being a man. They didn't like me doing
No,
that.
they
were
didn't
just
like
really
that.
upset.
I thought it was hilarious. I was.
But this is why I say, why is it that the left can make fun of everyone, but they get all sensitive? Hey, I don't mind the left making fun of me. I don't mind the left. I can take it just as well as I can dish it out. But I don't think it's censorship for you to say certain people can say certain things, but others can't say certain things. And so comedy has been ruined. I don't know if you saw the latest with Chris Rock. Chris Rock
Yeah,
was once,
yeah.
he was once funny. He's not
lost it.
funny anymore.
Yeah, he's not funny. I think I don't know if it's because of his experience or he's getting older, or he can't put up the fight anymore. But I'm gonna tell you when he started to lose me. Remember with the comedy thing where he says there's a civil war in the black community, or with blacks against the N-words, right? And he took that back. He apologized. He did an apology tour, said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know where I was," and he did a whole grumbling to the black community about making that stand up. And he said, "I don't stand by that anymore."
Well, it's funny right there because I actually made fun of him saying it. I called him a porch monkey. I called him every name you can actually call him. And I said he was selling out because you spoke the truth, but now you're back. And I told him, I'm never apologizing for being right. I don't care who get pissed off about it. I'm never apologizing when I'm right. And they got mad. And I always tell people when they tell me about, I was just talking to a lady the other day and she's telling me about, what about Black Lives Matter? All the blacks are killing each other in your neighborhood. I said, let me tell you something. You can't tell me anything about the inner community because I've lived it. I've been there. I said the number one killer of black men is black men.
Yep.
Period. It's not even close.
Yep.
It's not even close. Don't tell me about one cop. If a cop does something wrong, lock him up. I don't care. Throw away the key. But why is it that all of these athletes, LeBron James, Jay-Z, Beyonce, the whole 9 yards, everybody wants to talk about the police doing the killing? I can go tell you in Chicago just over the weekend, 54 people got shot. 9 were killed. Do you know how many kids under 18 have been shot in Chicago this year? 280. That was 2 weeks ago.
I was gonna say 243, but it's gone up now.
No, it went up. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago when I did a story, it was 280 kids under 18. One 4-year-old had got shot in the head, died in his father's arms.
Yeah.
I didn't see a protest. No protest.
No.
Nobody was outraged.
No.
Nobody. I didn't see LeBron James talking about it. I didn't see him taking a knee on the sideline in the NFL. I didn't see NASCAR or Coca-Cola. I didn't see none of this. You know why? Because these people are frauds. And they're not doing anything to help the people. By telling you you don't have to do math, that's not helping you. That's really systemic racism. By telling some person of color you don't have to do math, you don't have no standards, it's white supremacy to say you have to do standards. Well, how insulting is that?
Very insulting.
That actually is reverse discrimination. You're saying I'm too stupid to add. I'm too stupid to write my name. I'm too stupid to run a business. So now you're going to try to grade on the curve because you're saying that all minorities come from a broken home and we don't know no better.
Yeah.
How insulting is that?
Yeah. Very
If
insulting.
you say that white supremacy is, merit is white supremacy.
Yes.
Hard work is white supremacy.
Yeah.
And if you're like you're growing up and you don't have anyone tell you different, it's like, oh, I guess that's a white people thing working hard. I guess that's working hard.
Hey.
They say everything that's good is white, and they say, okay, do that. And so it's actually tearing apart minorities.
The sad part about that is that there's some blacks who actually perpetuate this because it's in the black community. Sometimes they say, well, you're acting white. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Taking care of your family and taking care of your kids is acting white.
Yeah.
Show me that.
Yeah,
Show me from a
exactly.
biblical standpoint, how is that supposed to be acting white?
Yeah.
That's acting responsible. There was a teacher just the other day, and I did a video on him. It was just the other day. And he said this. He says, asking kids to sit down and be
I know who you're
attentive.
talking
You
about.
see
He
it?
had the rainbow flag in the background.
Yes.
And he was talking like this. Okay.
Yes.
I know who you're talking
doing the whole
about.
9 yards. He says, asking people to sit down and be responsible and not disrupt the class is white
White
supremacy.
culture.
White culture, yeah.
White culture. Yeah.
In essence, it's white supremacy. I'm saying to myself.
Oh yeah, you're right because
Wow.
he went to, you know what? That's true. I forgot the train of thought. He went
Yes.
from white culture to whiteness to white supremacy.
White
That's
supremacy.
how he went there. Yeah.
So, you know what? If I was in his class, you know what I would do? He says that the minority kids, they must disrupt the class because they don't know how to act. So as soon as he started teaching, I'll just jump on the desk and bust out a rap. Start beatboxing, boom, 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 beating on the wall. Hey, this is my culture. I don't know how to act. Why stop it?
I did a video. No, did I do a video on him? No, I don't know if I did a live stream. Yeah, I did a live stream on him, right? Oh no, I think we did it on our show where I showed that the area that he lives in is over 90 something or 92% white, and that he don't even have any black students in his class. So he's want to sit up here and get those virtue signal points to show how he is down with being woke.
Black.
Yeah,
But see,
black, woke, and all that. Yeah.
But that's the part that gets me. It's almost like when some of these Hollywoods, they go adopt a little kid from Africa. But you don't have to go to Africa to adopt a little black
Hello?
kid. Hey, it got them in Chicago, in Baltimore. You can adopt it right here in Houston.
Right? And it's extra points that end up being Transformers afterwards, too.
You know what?
Multiple points for them.
Yeah, I consider it like an accessory to him. Like you get a new purse, you get new shoes. I got me a new black baby. It's insane though. But I always tell people, I don't see color. I don't care. I was raised right is right, wrong is wrong. If you want to you go talk to my grandma, my grandfather and my grandma, both of them on both sides, they would have looked at you crazy. My granddaddy lived to be 115 years old.
Wow.
115 on my dad's side. And guess what? He actually would tell you, he didn't finish the 6th grade. I think my grandma dropped out in the 8th grade. But they know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah.
And guess what? They didn't take government handouts. They raised a bunch of kids. On my mom's side, it was 18 of them. They never took welfare. On my dad's side, it was 9 of them. They never took welfare.
Wow.
So we're building a culture of people to be dependent on Uncle Sam and say, have babies, go to this community, raise a bunch of people. And if you get raised in that community, it's like dropping them off to wolves. Of course, it's going to be hard once all you see is drug dealing and teenage pregnancy and the whole 9 yards. Now, if LeBron James and the rest of these woke freaks want to fix them, why don't you fix that?
Yeah.
Stop the teenage pregnancy. Stop the crime and violence in your neighborhood. This is the equivalent of having a shotgun wound. You go to the hospital. They rush you to the emergency room. You've been shot in the head and you have a stump toe. They start operating on the stump toe. The police officers killing, quote, minorities is a stump toe.
Right.
The killing of black on black
non-issue.
crime and brown on brown crime is the gunshot wound to the head.
True. Speaking of that, I sent you an email in reference to Joy Reid,
Yes.
and what I want to talk about this is that and by the way, I did my due diligence. I went to go look at her past streams and her broadcasting, and do you know she gets on her television show and talk about, and I gotta do some research because I'm gonna do a video on it, on this Gwen Ilfo that created the whole term missing white woman syndrome. So I went to look at all of her past videos. Do you know she didn't do not one video focusing on missing black children or missing indigenous people? The first time she talked about that is ordered to slam Gabby.
Exactly. See, this is Joy Reid, that woman, she's about as dumb as a box of burnt hair. She has absolutely no common sense. All she talks about is race. Every show is about race. She's been wrong about so many things.
So many things.
And think about this, though. She says, I think it was her statement was, everybody interested in Gabby is the missing white woman syndrome. In other words, if a bunch of missing blacks or people of color came up, nobody would be concerned. You know what I say to that?
What?
Because I always like to present a question whenever they say something like that. I said, when a police officer kills a white, do we ever hear about it?
Ooh.
Never hear about it. I can name more whites get killed by police officers, but I never hear about it. George Floyd, Mike Brown, everybody know who they are.
Got him.
It's amazing.
These are all local events,
Oh.
right? So there's thousands of these local events happen, right? And the media gets to pick and select which ones they want to put on the national stage. And so they go, okay, let's pick the school shooting. Let's pick this. I'll pick all the kids that die in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for 6 years. You watch the local news, there's constantly death all the time. But it never makes it news because the national news is about framing a narrative from these anecdotal experiences across the country. Whereas the narrative they want. You can make any narrative you want with millions of people in the country and all the examples possible.
You know what? You're absolutely right. They can't pick every story, but some reason they pick some stories. But I can also, I like to counter Joy Reid's argument, though. I like to ask her about Ashley Babbitt. Now, she was unarmed. She was a veteran. She was killed, Capitol Hill. Now, why don't Joy Reid protect her like she did George Floyd? Now, I admit the police officer was wrong. And people on the right tried to say, well, the police, George Floyd was on drugs. Of course he was on drugs. But the police officers, this is what I said to a police officer, because I was having this conversation with a police officer. I said, why didn't they just hog tie him and put him in the back of the damn car? And this is what I said. He said, well, we can't hog tie people because it's against the law. I said, killing is against the law too.
In the state of Georgia, you can do it. I think it depends on the states, though.
But which one would have been better?
Hog tie him.
Put him in the car and get a charge for hog tie as opposed to killing him by leaving his foot on
hog tie him every time.
This is what I said. But what I don't understand is that Mike Brown, if you look at Mike Brown, it's a whole different scenario.
Right.
Mike Brown was actually charging police officers.
And trying to take his gun.
Down the store. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he's a hero. His family got money. Everybody says Mike Brown he was a victim. He was on his way to college. No, he wasn't. That Negro was not on his way to college. Everybody knows it.
Yeah,
it's a joke that he would say he was on his way to college. It wasn't even close.
Right.
But Joy Reid, you got to know who you're dealing with. Everything about Joy Reid is race. That's all she's got. Her only accomplishment is she said she was born black. She's never accomplished anything. You listen to the woman, you're looking at sheer stupidity. I was listening to Joy Reid one night, and she had a woman on there. I forgot the guy used to be. His name Meathead. I call him Meathead. He used to be on Archie Bunker, the Archie Bunker show. I call him Meathead. He's the director now.
Oh, okay.
And so he was on there, and they were talking about Larry Elder and the way they was attacking Larry Elder in California. Now, it's okay to attack Larry Elder. He's black. But it's okay because he's on the right. They were throwing eggs at him during the whole 9 yards.
Right.
And nobody came to his defense. But Joy Reid said on that particular program, I'm against Larry Elder because he's against sanctuary cities.
What?
Like that's a good thing? She's so stupid that her argument, she never even listens to her own
She's so out of touch. Oh my gosh.
The girl is gone. I'm telling you, there's nothing there. Nobody's home. I
think she's basically a mouthpiece for you got CNN got Don Lemon, MSNBC got Joy Reid.
But I don't know who's the dumbest either. I don't know who's the dumbest. It's a coin toss for that one. I'm telling you.
The elites have all these non-issues they've managed to get the whole entire base super worked up about, right? And these issues don't affect the elites like at all, right? I mean, like they're living in their gated communities. They don't see the effects of sanctuary cities. Everyone else does, but the base is totally on board with everything they think. And even with all this hypocrisy now, with I'll be careful with my words, with the Met Gala and VMAs, in which the workers had to wear masks, and then the superstars, the anointed ones, the celebrities didn't, right? Because when it comes to elites, right, this stuff doesn't apply to them, right?
Yeah. Of course.
The policies don't affect them, so they get to say whatever they want.
See, that's when you nailed it at. See, you got to understand, there's the elite. They have blue blood. You can't do what they do. They got a different Social Security than you have. They can do insider trading, but you cannot do it. The rules never apply to them. Barack Obama talks about climate change. He buys a house on Martha Vineyard on the beach, but he's talking about climate change. They ride private airplanes to get to these events.
Yes. That's the part I can't stand. Right.
Climate change. Oh, by the way, if you go back and look from 1969 up to like 75, they were predicting climate cooling. Oh, we're going to freeze to death. Now they've changed that narrative around. Now we're gonna all be flooded because it's melting.
Oh,
okay,
people,
It's a religion to them. It's nothing but more than a religion to these people. And if you actually quote a fact, because I was talking to this guy, matter of fact, he was from Chicago. He was a business owner, and I was talking to him, and what we talked about is that he started talking about the Paris Agreement. He hated Donald Trump because of the Paris Agreement. So I asked him, you'll be surprised that people cannot answer questions.
I won't be surprised.
But if you throw a question in there, he just throws a monkey wrench. It's like the deer in the headlights. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I let him talk about Paris Agreement and going on. I said, I'd like to stop you right there when you get finished. I got a question I want to answer. I got 2 questions I'd like to ask you. And he said, okay, then what's those questions? I said, the number 1 question I'd like to ask you is, how many people do you know personally that's died from climate change? And you just saw there was nothing there. And he says, what do you mean by that? I said, it's not a trick question. Very simple. How many? I know people who die from gunshot wound. I know people die from diabetes. I know people die from heart disease. Show me the people that you know that's died from climate change. He said, well, the forest is burning up. Yeah, some people start those fires. You just got to cut down bushes. If it's real dry, it will start a fire. That has nothing to do with climate change. I said, the other question I'd like to ask you, because you say you support Joe Biden, could you name me 5 things that Joe Biden has done since he's been in office for the last 46 years?
Oh!
Dead solid. Dead solid. He's a businessman. He owns a business and he's this dumb.
You know what? Now, the more you talk, the more I really see like, yep, now I see why YouTube, they can't not have your voice. You really fit your name. And I'm not just saying that. You do. It's like you're funny and you make so much common sense, okay?
They hate that. They hate common sense.
They
I'm telling
really
you, they
do.
will try to shut you down.
Now, go ahead.
Speaking on Joe Biden, I don't know if y'all know, y'all probably already knew this, but do you know what Joe Biden, okay, first, I think he initially graduated from Delaware University, which is his home state.
Right.
They probably just passed him just because he was down there, because he's an idiot. Everybody knows he's an idiot.
Right.
And then, but the thing that gets me is that Joe Biden supposedly went to Syracuse and he graduated. I like to keep telling people that it was only 85 people in the class. He finished 76. Now that means
I did not know that.
Yeah, he finished only nine people was behind him. Now, guess what? Most of the time, if you know anything about college, a lot of people don't show up for class. They drop the class without actually dropping the class. So technically, Joe Biden probably finished butt naked last. He probably didn't finish 76. It probably was 85. He's a moron. Everybody knows he's a moron. So I don't know why everybody's trying to dress it up. But you know what's funny? That ain't even the funny part. So they said when Joe Biden got out of college, he was supposedly working for this law firm. I've looked everywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. But I did find one thing. Joe Biden worked as a public offender. Now, I know this is scary. Joe Biden worked as a public offender, they said, for about 6 months. But the only case I could ever find of Joe Biden representing, it was a fellow who was a poor guy. He had 4 kids and a wife. He stole a cow. It was a plea bargain. Joe Biden allegedly got him off. That's the only case he's ever done. Now, that's the only job he supposedly ever had besides being a politician. And technically, he was working for the state then. So here we got Joe Biden, all his accomplishment, and I try everywhere to find accomplishments about Joe Biden. There are none because he's haven't accomplished anything. But everybody says, let's elect Joe Biden because he's not offensive as Donald Trump. And my question is, would you hire somebody who's been working for 46 years on your house and they haven't got anything right? The toilet is in the kitchen and they haven't fixed anything. But now you want to hire this guy again for the 47th year. Who's stupid, you or him?
Wow.
It makes no sense.
You missed one really important detail with him in law school, right? So
Yeah.
he did finish in the bottom time of his class, but you missed the part where the only reason why you know this is he originally lied and he said he was in the top third of his class. They investigated his lie. You don't need to say your law school grades on the campaign trail. Like, I'm a really smart guy, top third of my class, but no, they're actually bottom 10 of your class. Right? It's not lying, and I think also a plagiarism lie that then he dropped out of the race that year. Those 2 lies that got him out of there. So he didn't have to, and he lied, and he's actually the exact opposite of his question. He's not a bright guy.
Yeah, no, he's not. You know, is this his 3rd time running for president or 4th? I can't remember.
I think it's 3rd.
3rd. Now think about this. He had never won one single state the other previous 2 times. The only reason he won South Carolina is because that field hand, I like to call James Clyburn, freaking field hand. You want to talk about Uncle Tom? They always use the word Uncle Tom.
On
James
us, but that's
Clyburn,
really them.
He is the epitome of an angry slave. That's what I call it, an angry slave. This is the epitome of a guy being an angry slave. He's angry about nothing. Every time you see James Clyburn, he's frowning. You know what? I lived in South Carolina for 4 years. The reason I know, because I lived there for 4 years. He's a moron. He is a complete moron. But he always seems like that. You remember when Samuel Jackson played the angry black guy? I think it was Snake Moan or something like that. When he had the bald head or something. It was some show he played on. He was an angry. That's what James Clyburn.
I know the movie you're talking about. The title escaped me, but that is a perfect depiction of it.
That's who he is. And they don't like, one guy says, I don't like you disrespecting James Clyburn and Michelle Obama like that. I said, your mother. I don't care if you like it or not. It makes no difference to me. I said, show me where I'm wrong at, and I'll change my tune. But I'm going to keep insulting you, and I'm going to keep saying whatever I feel like saying.
I'm just shocked that Facebook just let you say. Of course, we can say that about him here, but they seem to love Biden over there on Facebook. But
they do. They do.
Okay.
Now, what Facebook does, they hide my videos and they hide it from my subscribers. But the only thing I got good to say about Facebook, is they haven't kicked me off.
True,
They're the only platform that hasn't kicked
true.
me off.
I guess
Now,
that's the most important thing is that they can shadow ban you, hide your videos from your subscribers, but as long as they don't kick you off, you still have a platform that can basically reach other people as long as they share your videos.
And what I do is, on every video, I put my link to my website. So
Good.
eventually they kick me off, they can find me. Now,
Yeah.
I'm on Rumble too, but everybody thinks Rumble is so conservative. It's not
No,
even
it's
conservative.
no, it's not. No,
it's a joke.
no,
Everybody
yeah.
thinks it's so
yeah,
conservative.
I
It's
agree.
not.
I agree. I actually
it's
said
not.
that. I actually said it. They have similar terms of service to YouTube. Now, to me, I think it's a trap. Like they trying to get all the conservatives to come over there. Now, I'm on there, by the way. I just wanted you to know I'm
Yeah,
on there.
yeah.
But I don't have this illusion that, oh, this is finally the safe place. We have been lied to so many times by so many different platforms that it's nothing like having your own site, right? ET is nothing like having your own
Well, see, this is
site.
why I keep telling people, listen, why don't you just put all your videos on another site as opposed to put them on your website? I said, wait a minute. I can control anything I want to put on my own website. I can do it. I don't have to watch my tone. I don't have to watch what I say. I can say anything I want
Yes.
to on there, and nobody can ban me. So
Yes.
why would I actually stop that particular platform?
Yeah, and I actually I used to be on that I used to be
Yeah.
on that wavelength of I my 7-day ban was a wake up call to get back onto getting people to come to my my website. And if you look at any of my videos, I constantly in the beginning and the end. TreeofLogic.com, anything happens to me,
gotta
TreeofLogic.com,
do it. You gotta do
TreeofLogic.com, and now people are flooding to my site. I've been looking at my analytics and they have been increasing. So now I'm doing the same. Of course, I have a membership site too, but soon I will be streaming not exclusively, but that's my main platform is my website, but I'll multi-stream on other venues.
That's the smartest thing I tell people to do. Now, this is what I don't understand. There's a lot of conservatives with a lot of money. Why haven't they built their own platforms yet? That's what I keep asking.
I think they're
There's
too
no attempts.
dependent. Go ahead,
I think you guys are concentrating on like the platforms, like maybe not like having our backs. But the issue is that even if we have what conservative, if I was a millionaire, why would I ever invest in a new platform? Because I know it's going to happen. I'm going to invest all my money into it, and then Apple Store is going to take it down, and then Google Play is going to take it down, and then my web hosting is going to take it down, right? And so they're not going to invest their money when they know it's all going to be destroyed. That's what happened with Parler, right? Like we're having it over there, then it cut down.
Well, the problem with Parler is that the guy who pretended like he was conservative, he was never conservative
Right,
anyway.
right.
He was a fraud.
Right.
But I can understand why some of them want to do it, but if I'm a billionaire, I can build my own server room. I mean, they got enough money, they can do their own server.
Exactly.
Just like Apple or whoever built it. If I'm a billionaire, I don't need you for anything.
Exactly.
I don't need Apple, I don't need Amazon. You can build your own platform and you don't need any of those guys if they really want to do it. But I don't think they want the headache because Donald Trump found out that sometimes it's not worth it.
Yeah.
The
You
headache that you got to go through for your personal business, believe me, I'm talking from experience.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I've suffered a whole lot of financial stuff, and I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a billionaire.
Right.
But I've suffered myself. I can't tell you how much money I've lost because I wouldn't compromise and I wouldn't shut up. If I had shut up and go along to get along, I could have had a bigger platform. They used to take down my video. Some of my videos was going 10 million viewers when I was on YouTube, and they were still taking them. They was taking them down. I started another channel, and it just kept happening. I said, if I'd have been smart 5 years before I got kicked off of YouTube, I would have actually went and built my own platform then. But the sad part about this is that most of people, when they see something happen to you, they don't ever say, nobody came to my defense.
True.
Everybody,
Yeah.
he got what he deserved.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
conservative.
yeah.
He got what his mouth was too. I said, did you see the filth they got on some of these
Yeah.
platforms? And you're talking to me about some I said I offended somebody, called them a name. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I was talking to a conservative who says he would like Donald Trump more if Donald Trump would just tone it down. He didn't insult people. I said, if you break in my house, I'm going to do more than insult you. Technically, what they're saying is they have broken people's house. They've actually destroyed our way of life. And now they're telling us just go along to get along.
Right.
Well, personally, I'd rather die than just go along to get along.
I think the reason why a lot of them won't do it is one, out of laziness, and two, they think it's not going to happen to them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've talked to a lot of people, and I think most people don't like conflict. There's a certain
True.
They run away from conflict.
I love it. Bring it
There's
on.
only a certain crowd that run to conflict. You ever see those certain warriors
Yes.
in the military? They run to conflict. You ever watch 300, the movie?
Yes, they run to conflict.
They run to conflict because they're warriors. I'm one of those guys that run to conflict.
Me too.
I don't
Me
run
too.
away from conflict.
Yeah.
I see conflict. I don't care if it's my neighbor. I get along with my neighbor. I get along with everybody. But when my neighbor wants to do something in my yard and I'm paying for it, I got a problem with it.
Right.
I'm not going to be a nice neighbor and let you just come over and urinate in my yard and
Right.
say, let's be a nice neighbor. No. I'm about to do something that's not lawful if you come in my yard and urinate.
You were saying before, like, some conservatives can go online and they can, shut up about some things and try to like follow the rules, right? And then they can eventually build up until they have FU money. But here's the problem, and this goes back to Chris Rock before. Chris Rock has FU money.
Yeah.
But what does he do? He apologizes because after all, money's not it. It's actually the social acceptance because the elites are all very liberal. And so you're going to lose your friends, you're going to lose your connections. And that's
it.
That's what human beings really crave, is social connections. So those millionaires and billionaires we're talking about, probably the elites they know as well are mostly liberal, right? So he might be known as the token conservative, but he knows if he starts pushing that platform, everything around him falls apart. Because the liberal elites can show everything.
And you just nailed it. That's the problem. You ever been in school and they had the popular girls or the popular guys and everybody wanted to be in that in crowd?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't say anything against them because they wanted to be in the crowd. Chris Rock don't need any money.
True.
We know that.
True.
He doesn't need the money. This is what I always did understand. I said, if I had these guys' money, I really would say whatever the hell I want.
Right.
Because I'm definitely not shutting up then. They got all the money they need. It ain't about the money. Now, I know some people don't like me bringing up Tucker Carlson, but I've been bashing Tucker Carlson for a while.
Yeah, don't like Tucker. I know. It's
because
okay.
the reason I don't like Tucker Carlson is when the going got tough, he bailed out. Don't come. It's like I'm having a fight and you say you got my back and I'm over here fighting. Next thing I look around, you took off running. And then you want to come back and say, yeah, I got your back now. It's too late for that now. It's too late for that now.
Detected. No lies detected.
Like November 2020 in January? Is that what we're talking about? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. I can see your point there. You won't go too much.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, let me ask you something. I agree with you about the money, but I don't know. Maybe we are a dying breed that we can be like, we don't have to be a part of anybody's crowd.
See, that's me.
Yeah, that's me too.
My kids even tell me this right here. Daddy, why you have to be making a man? I said, well, he said something was wrong. I just told him how he was wrong. He got mad about him. I told him I don't care about you being upset.
Woo!
This is a family member. My family will tell you I'm like this.
Oh yeah. I don't even talk to my family.
I got more whippings than all my brothers and sisters. You know why? Because I didn't shut up.
Yeah.
Because when I say something is wrong, I'm gonna say, hey, what about this right here? What about this? And then you want to tell me to shut up because you can't defend your point.
True.
I don't understand you telling me to shut up because you can't defend your point. Defend your point. I'm a rational person. If you defend your point, I say that makes sense.
Yeah. When Obama was running, I was the only black person in the family, only person in the family, and only black person that everybody, my white friends knew, that said, I ain't voting for him. Are you serious? I said, do you understand that the best way to mess it up is to put this clown into the White House, right? Yeah. And when he won, I was like, well, y'all done did it now. They're like, you know what? You cut off. We don't want to have nothing to do with you. And they did that because they knew I was going to come back and say, told you so, I told you so, you know what I'm saying?
Well, see, what's funny about that is like if I go around family or friends, people I grew up with, and they want to avoid a conversation, they know not to bring it up with me. Because as soon as you bring it up, wherever you pitch that tent at, we having a circus right there. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go into detail about it. I'm going to tell you why I don't like him. I'm not going to say I don't like him just because it's my feelings. This is grown-up land.
Yeah.
We're not little kids.
Yeah.
The reason I don't like him is because of this, because of that. And it was sad about this is they'll tell me, I was talking to a guy who was the Arkin guy. I owned a business and he actually used to come in and exterminate. Now, I didn't know he was just flaming liberal right there. I almost thought about just firing him just for that. But he came in and we started talking. And he says, well, me and my wife love Barack Obama. I stopped him right there. I said, lock the door. I locked the door. I gave him an hour course on stupidity. An hour course. But I told him, if he doesn't listen to me, if he doesn't defend his point, and he doesn't listen to me, I'm going to fire him as being my exterminator. So he had to listen. So I said, now, I've talked to you for an hour. Now, explain to me the reason did you like Barack Obama? Because don't tell me you didn't have any scandals. You know, he actually had to admit that he can't even come up with any good thing. I said,
good.
Now, they say that Barack Obama had no scandals. Well, it's the Fast and the Furious. That's not a movie. That's the freaking Fast and Furious. They were walking guns across to the notorious drug cartel of Mexico. And Barack Obama and Eric Holder knew about it. Eric Holder lied on the oath, and he still didn't get prosecuted.
Yeah,
you lied on the oath one time.
That's so true. That
Yeah,
exactly
they
happened.
he had a million scandals. I mean, one of the biggest ones to me was what happened with the IRS targeting Christians.
Yes.
And because that's actually the reason why it's even more important now is it was foreshadowing because
Yes.
right now the Democrats are doing currently is they're using the administrative agencies to really act like legislature and to enact laws. And they're targeting people on the right, whether that be the Department of Justice, whether that be the IRS. And you saw that under Obama and it was egregious, but now no one's even talking about it because that's just expected.
Yeah. Well, see, this is Barack Obama's third term. You know that, right?
Yes, of course we do know. Of course we do know. Yes, this is
Because
he's
all
picking up where they left
Obama's
off.
people, all of Obama's people work for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows. Does anybody really think Joe Biden's in charge?
No.
Come on, he's a puppet.
No.
Have you listened to him talk? He has no clue what he's talking
He
about.
don't even remember where he is half the time.
I call him Bumper Car Joe. You know, ever went to drove those little bumper cars? And they just run into everything. The objective is to run into stuff, right? It's a bumper car.
Yeah.
So, Joe Biden, the economy, he's Bumper Car Joe. He's running into stuff. Afghanistan, Bumper Car Joe.
Yeah.
Everything he does, he's running into stuff. He doesn't care because he's not in charge. And by the way, they're never removing Joe Biden. You know why? Why would I remove somebody I can control?
That's
Stand
what
right
I
here,
said.
dummy.
That's what I
Stand
said.
right
Yes,
there.
he's a good puppet.
Hold on now,
He's an
but
excellent puppet.
Biden's a puppet because he doesn't know what's going on because he has dementia. But Kamala Harris is also a puppet because Kamala Harris has no beliefs.
No, I agree.
feelings. She will do whatever it takes. Whatever she's told will give her more power. She'll do. She doesn't believe in anything.
I
She'll
agree with
flip flop on the dime.
I agree with you 100%. But one key detail you keep forgetting, though, that with Kamala Harris, she has an ego. Biden don't have an ego right now. He just flipped them. But see, Kamala, even though she has no system, she'll do anything to get to the top.
Oh, anything. And we mean anything.
Anything. Now, she's used to being on the bottom, but this time she wants to be on top. But I can tell you this. Kamala she's so arrogant that she actually thinks she's smart. It's obvious she's not smart.
True.
She's a moron. She's just as dumb as Joe Biden. And by the way, I said this on my podcast. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the dumbest duo in the history of this country as vice president and president. It's not even close.
Not even close.
And that's
Not
saying a lot
even
because George Bush was no genius himself.
True.
Barack Obama was no genius. And Jimmy Carter was a moron too.
Duo. I mean, at least George Bush was an idiot, but at least Dick Cheney was smart. He was kind of like evil smart his own way.
That's exactly right. That's
And now we have
exactly
the duo over here, dummies.
Duo. Neither one of them has a clue, and either one would do anything. They don't care.
Wait a minute. Didn't Dick Cheney was the one that came up with the waterboarding, right?
He may have. I mean, is he
I
still
think
living?
so. I think
Is he
so.
still
I think
living?
he was the one that
He's
came
not
up with
living. He's not really
waterboarding.
in politics anymore, but yeah, I think he had a scandal with that. I mean, he was the one who was the ex-CEO of Halliburton, and apparently there's some financial interests with oil money or something like that. There's a couple of things that the people are upset at him about, I think rightfully.
You know what? It's funny you bring up Halliburton because the company I used to work for 20 years, we did business with Halliburton. And let me tell you something. They made a killing off wars. There's no doubt in my mind.
Wow.
Not what somebody told me. I'm saying firsthand. I'm going to tell you one incident. I was working for this company, and I won't call their name right now, but I was working for this company, and we were doing business with Shell Chemical. And this is in Texas. Valero, Sterling, BP Amoco, all the big refineries you can name in Texas, we did business with them. We were doing business with Halliburton. I tried to tell one of the supervisors at Halliburton about saving money. They was wasting money. His words to me was, don't ever bring up saving money to me again or I'll snatch the contract from you. I was done with the conversation.
Wow.
They don't want to talk about saving money because it's taxpayer money. They're getting rich off of it.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Well, government contractors work.
They get money off of it.
Bleed the government money dry, yeah.
War is big business, boy, I'm telling you. That's why we think about it. We stayed in Afghanistan for 20 years. Now, we spent anywhere from $1 trillion to $2 trillion. Now, I ask you, who was in charge when we went to Afghanistan? The Taliban. Who's in charge when we left Afghanistan?
The Taliban.
So what did we accomplish?
So, dude, what do you think about them actually trying to? Wait a minute, hold on. I got a question because this is sincerely I don't know, so I'm asking, just asking for knowledge. Were they always trying to legitimize this terrorist group to actually be a legitimate government to invite to?
Well, this is my theory. I'm gonna tell you what my theory is. You remember when Barack Obama was when he was the president, he was in bed with the Muslim Brotherhood and everything Muslim. They don't care how bad of a church you was. Omar, who is from Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Now, all she does is support terrorist groups.
Right.
She has no problem with them.
True.
So technically speaking, they do want to legitimize terrorist group. That's what they do. And that's what the left does. The left actually legitimizes. Now, you and I are worse enemies to them than the Taliban.
That's amazing. And it's so true. It's so true. Holy smokes.
Free. I don't think that they would try to legitimize, but I think what happened was they had to legitimize out of necessity.
Yeah.
Once they saw the huge collapse, they had to be like, whoa, they're not as bad as they seem, guys. they can control things, and they're not the old Taliban. No,
Hey.
they'll let the girls go to school. Don't worry.
Do you believe Molly though? Now at first Molly said they didn't see the collapse coming. I cried BS because there's too many other intel people who says that they knew it was going to happen. And by the way, they said that we had trained, over 300,000 military people, and they took off running, didn't fire one shot. Now, you know what that tells me? The reason they didn't fire a shot is because those who was working for the military that we were training was the Taliban.
Yes.
Come on.
Oh, you're so right. And oh my gosh, you're so right, because remember they said all the stuff we left over there, and there's this fancy I think it's a Hawk helicopter. They're like, oh, don't worry, they can't fly it. And then they show the actual Taliban flying that specific helicopter with precision and waving their flag outside of their hangar.
I think the theory for that could be that, like Pakistan would be helping the Taliban in all capacity. Now we know that China will help them out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll help you learn to fly it. Let's just let's look at the designs. We'll get the IP from it first.
Well, in Joe Biden's defense, he only gave them $80 billion worth of military equipment. Only $80 billion. Come on now.
Oh, just
he could have
only.
gave him 100.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah.
spent trillions
That's not
there.
too bad.
We gave them $80 billion for equipment.
And I got good news for you guys though. Not only did the Taliban learn how to fly the Black Hawk, I don't know if you saw the video of the guy was hanging from the Black Hawk. That was a new Taliban game. You a traitor, we hang you.
Oh,
from
yeah,
the
I
Black
saw
Hawk.
that. Yeah. And you know what? The left was very hush about that.
Oh, of course
okay?
they were.
They were very
about
hush.
that type of thing.
I was like, oh, okay. They love to come after Christians, but when you actually see them, the Muslims actually do what is exactly written with them, and we got to be careful on this one, because I that's what I got in trouble with a lot on my first channel. Like, this is my second, my first channel. Yeah, Tree of Logic, the original YouTube, is still there because I just abandoned it because I was making a lot of videos educating people about Islam.
What? No, you can't do that.
No, I
You
can't.
racist. You're
And
racist.
all of my strikes, and I think I got 2 or 3 strikes. Anyway, I had to just delete every Islamic video down to keep that channel, and I just abandoned it. And I just came to this one here. But it just goes to show you like the hypocrisy of the left, where they see that they won't call it out.
No, Tree, you got it wrong. It's not hypocrisy. They're training you how to think. You got to get
Oh,
that right.
it's not working though.
When it comes to these double standards, we talk about double standards a lot with the left, but I think that the Christianity and Islam double standard is by far the most obvious if you think
No doubt about it.
It's like a celebration to criticize Christianity. It's like promoting our culture. You're edgy, you're cool, you're smart, right? Like you're not a Christian dope, you're not some rube, right? But when you criticize Islam, that's the most evil thing in the world, or especially if you criticize Jews, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But Christianity is the one group where you can make fun of them all you want. And I never heard the term Christian phobe, or I didn't know if that word exists.
Thank you. That's the question I like to bring up. I like if you said this kind of stuff, like Bill Maher said stuff about Jesus that's outrageous to me. Personally, if he was in my presence and he said about Jesus, I'll just probably remove some of his teeth out of his mouth. That's how I feel about that. But think about Bill Maher never says the same thing about Muhammad. Why would he say that about Muhammad? Because you know why? The Muslims will come and get him.
They will come and get him. They will get
I
him.
respect the Muslims in that sense. They say you're not going to talk about
Right,
our prophet.
right,
But we let people
right.
disrespect Jesus. We let people disrespect our Bible, our God, and we don't get upset.
No.
I go David on you. When David showed up and Goliath was over here mocking the children of Israel, David says, wait a minute, who is this uncircumcised individual who keeps coming out here mocking my God? Let me at him. Just move back. I got this. See, I love Jesus. I got some David in me too. I'm ready to chop off
I
heads.
love it. Hold on. Now, let me ask you something. Speaking of war and invasion, the border crisis. Here's I got a 2-part question. What do you think about it, and how will this end?
How is it what?
How will it end?
Well, I think Joe Biden is doing an outstanding job on the board. What I found funny is that everybody keeps calling it a border crisis. This is not a border crisis. It's a freaking invasion.
Yeah.
It's not a crisis. It's a freaking invasion. It's against the law to sneak into the country. What they call in the code of our Constitution is illegal entry into the U.S.
Right.
Now, the term is used as the improper entry. That means you cannot enter the country at any point without permission.
Right.
Now, I'm not that smart, but either I can figure out that's what they're saying.
True.
Improper entry. You
True.
cannot. Matter of fact, it's Title 8, Section 1325.
Oh my gosh, you know the code.
It's Section 275 of the Immigration National Act. You cannot illegally come over here under no circumstance. That means you can't get a fake ID. If you do get a fake ID, guess what it actually says in the Constitution?
What?
It says that if you get a fake ID and you enter unlawfully, the next time you try to apply legally, that will be held against you. Is that happening?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
So did you see the all the Haitians down at the border?
Yes, I did.
14,000 of them.
Yeah.
And, Omar says we owe the Haitians to let them over here for
No,
free.
we don't.
Okay, I got a question then. Bear, treat. I'm going to show up at you guys' house with 500 people. And I'm going to tell you to feed all of us. I want you to clothe us, give us free health care, free schooling. And if you say you can't, I'm going to say you go borrow the money so you can actually take care of me and my 500 guests. It's your responsibility. How does that even sound? I didn't invite you.
Yeah.
It
When
sounds
comes to
crazy.
Omar,
That's
all
what it
these people-
sounds.
Yeah, these liberals, what they always say, and when Omar was talking, she kept using the word "oh." We
Yeah.
owe the Haitians. We owe them this. Like
We
Americans
don't owe
owe
them nothing.
anybody anything. Like if she spoke a different way, she says, it would be nice if Americans did this. We go, yeah, I guess that's true. Would be nice. We don't really have the resources right now. We're dealing with our own problems. But they always say the word "oh," like Americans have a duty to protect the rest of the planet when we're having all our own problems here.
Well, see, that's why we have voluntary programs. You can volunteer to donate your money.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteer to give your money up. That means your money.
And they're not going to
money.
do that. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not going. Not only are they not going to volunteer their money, they're not going to house these people. They're not going to even have them move in their neighborhoods.
Not in their neighborhood. They're not going to have that in their neighborhood.
Exactly.
Now think about this. Omar came from Somalia.
Right.
When she was in
Saved
Somalia.
her.
Yeah, we saved her.
Right.
And so she gets over here and to show ungratitude towards us. Now she's bashing us after we took her and her parents in over here and took care of them and made her a citizen.
Ungrateful.
In Somalia, she would be like the fourth wife to some Islamic fella.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so this
Send
next
her
point
back.
this next point I'm saying I got from our last guest, Gavin McInnes, but what he always says is that actually when these immigrants come in, or I'm not sure if you call her an immigrant, but when Ilhan Omar came in, these people came in, they actually are assimilating to our culture, because our culture right now in many parts of the country is self-hatred of America, right? So these
Right.
are actually are assimilating to a culture that a lot of people have, and that's hatred. So how can we even blame them at some point, right? They come in and then schools teach them to hate America, like, oh, you guys saved me, but you're evil, and then they eventually learn what it is.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? You actually said it, which makes a lot of sense too, and it's kind of funny. You almost got to laugh at some of the stuff they do because it's so ridiculous. But this is the question I always ask: if America's so racist and we're so bad, why do you keep bringing quote people of color
Woo!
over here?
I say the same thing. I'm like, wow, America is so racist, but you guys keep sending people of color over here to a racist country. What is that all about? Apparently, we are not racist.
Now, this has been the same thing. Like back in the 60s when the KKK, by the way, is a Democratic party. When the KKK was lynching and beating black, this has been the same equivalent saying, we're going to go join the KKK and we're going to make sure they do us right. Well, no, I'm not going to join the KKK. I mean, they're coming over here to racist America, and we're going to make them take us in.
Right,
They're
right,
racist.
right,
The logic, but you don't have to have logic when you're dealing with the left.
No, not at all.
It's illogical.
Not at all. Do you find that you're able to disarm them more when you ask them questions?
Of course, that's what it's my favorite thing to do. I got this from Jesus actually, because Jesus, you notice that before Jesus would answer somebody's question, like the Pharisees and the Sanhedrin council would come to him and says, "Hey, we heard that you were doing such and such." He said, "Okay, what? I'm going to answer your question if you answer my question first. Was John the Baptist, was it from God or was it from man?" They said, "Well, think about it. That's a good question. We don't know the answer." He said, "Well, I'm not going to answer your question." So I make them answer my questions and then I'll answer your question.
I think it was Supreme Court Justice Brandeis who said sunlight is the best disinfectant, meaning that puts some light on their views, right? So you don't have to give your views, just shine light on theirs, ask them a question, and they'll stumble over themselves because they don't really have the views. They have the conclusions, right? But they don't have arguments with the viewpoints.
So now that's a good point you just made, because that's what they actually do. Once you shine the light on them and make them actually answer, because they're like robots, like wind them up and they get talking points. They get it from CNN, MSNBC, and it's like wind up, sock them robots.
I like when you say that, MSNBC. You used to do that all the time.
They wind them up and then they put them out there and they just repeat it like little clones or something. But if you ask them a question, it's like they get that deer in the head, like, you're going to ask me a question? Hey, I've been quoting this to all my friends and they thought I was super smart. But you ask them a question and all of a sudden they don't know how to answer a question. And I'm not talking about dumb people. I'm talking about, I talk to people with 100%. PhDs. Yeah. And you'll be surprised that they're not smart. They have one argument or they have one talking point, but if you get them off that talking point, they don't seem as intelligent anymore.
They do IQ studies on political ideology, and like liberals supposedly, I mean, I believe it, have higher IQs than conservatives. A lot of liberals are very smart in their own personal lives, and sorry, in some capacities, they're very educated. However, they argue out of emotion, and I always say that smart people can justify bad arguments even better because they can make up some argument for whatever crazy belief they have. Like when it comes to people being brainwashed, we've had plenty of studies that show it's always like the smarter people, they're better educated people, or more likely to get brainwashed because if they want to believe something, they're smart enough to convince themselves of that.
Actually, I saw the study that shows that the most of the mentally ill are the ones on the left. That's the study I saw. I believe that one. That's the reason why
mentally ill and intelligent.
Hey, but think about this though. Who's actually teaching at the universities now?
They are
mostly left. The left is teaching it. So they're indoctrinating them. They're starting in elementary school. They indoctrinate them in elementary school. They indoctrinate them through school, throughout. And then when you get to college, that's all there is left leaning. You can't be a conservative hardly and be a professor at college. They'll kick you out of there.
Not openly, no.
What do you think? Do you think it's still a good method to avoid this is by homeschooling or also getting conservatives or right-leaning centrists to hire a teacher and then basically have them go in like the old days where everybody had this one teacher and then they would break them up in small groups. This group is on this reading level, this group is on this reading level, and this and the other, and then teach them all instead of having them being indoctrinated by liberal teachers.
I used to then think that when people used to say, well, I did homeschool, I didn't think it was a good idea. Now I think it's actually a brilliant idea because it's better to train your own kids the way you want them to think than somebody else. But the only alternative I say to that, and everybody can't afford it, is that more conservatives or more churches need to get their own schools.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So they can actually start training. You can hire your own teachers because the teachers union is a mob.
Yes, it is. Right, yes, it is. Yes.
I knew teachers. I know people who actually was in the teaching field. And I'm gonna be honest with you, boy, they're radical, man. That's like dealing with the mob.
Yep.
If I could answer your homeschooling point, because I think it's really important. I want to homeschool my kids, and we all realize that it's impractical for a lot of people who work, right?
True.
Especially, it's hard. A lot of families need two incomes, right?
Exactly right.
So what we could do is that since public schools right now are being funded by property taxes, why don't we offer a program where you get a voucher program, a refund, right? And so the money that goes towards public schools, if you take your kid out of it, you get that money on the side. And with that extra money, you can go and you can hire a teacher to teach you and your friends' kids, right? Or your kid, or you can not work that other job and you can teach your kids. So about like that would be very helpful. I've never heard any Republican, I don't think, mention that though.
Well, actually, Donald Trump tried to do what do you call a stipend program?
Yeah, he did.
But they went crazy.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
my school choice.
They stopped that immediately.
No choice. Now they send their kids to private schools, but they don't want you sending your kids to a school of their choice. And look what's happening at the school. That was about 5 years ago. It was a story. I think it was high school. It was a certain district in Baltimore, and they says that I think it was 98 to 99% of the high school students could not read on an education level above the 6th grade. It is
Baltimore. I did a video on it.
Crazy.
It is video. It is Baltimore. Do you think? I want to get back to your point on churches. I think that's a good idea because if churches are tax exempt, they can take advantage of that in the educational system. But what would need to happen in order for churches, not the liberal ones, but the conservative ones or the apolitical ones, to start doing schools?
I don't know if you know, but it's some here in Houston. They actually do that. They got some.
Okay.
Yeah, they got some churches who actually, when their membership started growing, and they actually was able to finance it. What they did is they just built their own school, and what they did, they started like first through second grade. That's the only thing they started, and after a couple of years, they moved up to third through sixth, and they just kept adding on till they got to the 12th grade. So you can gradually add on like that. It's kind of difficult,
good.
but at least you can.
Program again.
Yeah.
They need funding, and they can do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's what they need is funding.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, we're rolling down here now. But I gotta ask this one before we let you go, and then also we definitely gotta shout out all of your website and your Facebook link. What do you think? Do you think so? You do believe that Joe Biden will finish his first term? Okay.
The only way that Joe Biden will not finish if he collapses and dies, because Joe Biden could be in a wheelchair. He could be comatose in a bed. They don't care. I'm right here, Joe. It doesn't
Anyway.
He's comatose right now.
True.
So what difference does it make? Think about this. When Joe Biden ran for office, he was in the witness protection program. He was hiding in the basement.
Yeah.
The whole time he was hiding in the basement.
The whole
I used to call him Witness Protection Joe, because Joe Biden is hiding. And everybody says, well, when he becomes president, he's going to change. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Do you hire somebody based on what they're already doing? Or you said, I'm just hoping he will start doing the right thing.
Right.
That's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. I said, he's hiding right now, and when he becomes president, he's going to be even worse if he becomes president, because he don't have a clue what the hell he's doing. He just does it. And so why would I remove, if I was the puppet master, and I can control my puppet, I'm not removing that puppet. Kamala is a puppet too, but she's a puppet who wants to think sometimes. I don't need my puppet thinking.
Right.
I need my puppet to sign it right here. Just sign on the dotted line. And Joe Biden will sign anything they put in front of him. He don't know where he's going or coming.
No.
I did a video the other day on Joe Biden, and I said, if you can explain what Joe Biden is talking about, please explain to me. Because,
You win a prize.
I said, I would hate to have to be the sign language person who's trying to sign language for Joe Biden. Like, I don't know what the hell he's saying. What is he talking about? Because Joe Biden don't even know what he's running for Senate. Kamala is the president. His sister's his wife. He doesn't care. He doesn't know.
And look, he keeps forgetting. He can't even remember names. Thank you there, Boris, and the fella from Down Under. Like, how embarrassing! How embarrassing!
No. I like when Joe Biden goes off script and you tell everybody's cringing. Like, you can know his handlers are saying, "Oh my God, they asked him a question. He's going to answer a question." Like the one time they asked him a question and Joe Biden says, "I'm not supposed to answer any questions."
He did do that. He did do that. He's like, I'm not supposed to. They told me I'm not supposed to answer that question. And I'm like, who is they? Who is they?
Thank you. That's the question I asked. Who is they telling the president? He's the president. They don't tell the president what to do. The president tells them what to do.
I don't know who they are, but I know I don't like they.
I don't like they either.
I don't know who they are. I don't know. I don't like them.
Hey, but after Joe Biden says, I'm not supposed to answer any questions, but go ahead, I'll answer your question.
Well, that's not Afghanistan. He goes, no, not that walks away. Yeah.
Nothing is funnier than Joe Biden reading off a script, and then when it's time to leave, he almost takes off running.
Yeah.
I've never seen him move so fast.
True.
If you did a 100-yard sprint, he would actually beat Usain Bolt in a 100-yard sprint, leaving that stage once it's time to answer questions. Because he's out of there. He said, "Deuces, I'm leaving."
True. As always, it was a pleasure having you on our program.
You got to do it again.
Absolutely. We definitely going to have to bring you back on again. Now, before we go, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you, all your social media platforms, and most of all, your website. We will also have that below this video. Those of you who are watching this after the recording after Wednesday, we will have, even if you're watching on Wednesday live, because this is pre-recorded on Tuesday, so we're going to have all his links available in the description box as well as the first pinned comment. So go ahead and let everybody know how they can find you.
Well, if you want to find me, the main way to find me is on our website, which is commonsensenation.net. Commonsensenation.net. On there, we post articles. I write some articles. We post some articles from other people. But we have a platform on there, on that particular website, that you can click on and you can subscribe to our videos, because we place our videos there. That's the main place we place our videos, but we also still do it on Facebook until they kick us off. We're on we're on Facebook right now, and you can find us on Facebook at the Doctor of Common Sense 2, because the number one Doctor of Common Sense was hacked, and I never got that one back. So we're there, and we also on Rumble, same name. I'm Dr. Common Sense on MeWe. We even do a gospel broadcast, and we got a radio show we do only on Wednesday, and on that one we're on Spreaker, the Doctor of Common Sense on Spreaker. So we do a radio show there, and we only do that one on Wednesday, and we do a gospel broadcast on Sunday. So we try to feed the whole person.
Yeah.
Spiritual, because people don't understand this is spiritual part that people ain't getting fed. They're just getting fed a bunch of junk food. And if you keep eating at McDonald's all the time and you just eat junk food, eventually it's going to take a toll on your body. So your mind is the same way. And I don't think people feed their mind spiritual truth enough. And that way it actually flushes out, because once you know truth, it's easy to decipher a false one. Like those diamond people who look at the diamond, they know a phony diamond when they don't study phony diamonds. They look at real diamonds, so they know a phony when they see it.
Oh, yeah.
So if you study the word of God and you actually know that when you see a phony, you see it from a million miles away. It's like it's no way that's right. Because it contradicts the truth. There's no such thing as my truth.
Right.
It's the truth.
Right.
No matter who's my truth and your truth. What does that even mean?
Amen. All right, then. So once again, we're going to have all those links. I think we'll have the top three. We'll definitely, first of all, your website will be definitely number one, and we'll have Facebook. And since everybody loves Rumble, and then we'll do your spiritual podcast. So I'm gonna have, if you could send me that link, because a lot of people like to listen. They don't like to They don't want to have to be glued to a YouTube. TV, so I think that'll be a great thing to also share with them too. So I'll have all of that available. So any closing words before we basically depart?
Well, on that one, thank you guys for having me on the show, and I love what you guys doing. Keep up the good work and keep speaking out. And if they eventually kick you off, we have to talk about them kicking you off of there also. But I can say this: the thing I'm most proud of more than anything, I'm proud of telling the truth. But I'm actually more proud of the spiritual broadcast than I am anything else. We've been doing that for like 3.5 years.
Wow.
And we do it every Sunday, and we've been doing it for 3.5 years. And it's just you can just listen. You can download it free of charge. You can take it whatever you want to. You can pass it around because it's free download. You can download it and listen to it. So I'm more proud of that than everything, because I made that promise to God that if He took care of me through this, I would keep doing those. And I'm going to honor that. I'm going to honor that.
Okay, good. Well, we'll definitely have that link and promote that for you, most definitely. So
thank you.
Once again, thank you for coming on. And listen, guys, I want you to share this video because we want to get more Common Sense Nation members over there to the Doctor of Common Sense. So this is Tree and
Bear Jew
with the Doctor of Common Sense, and we will see you all next Wednesday at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you guys.
All right.
Told you guys.
That was so great. Let me tell you something. I was listening to it, and I was just laughing. I was like, T is hilarious.
You know why he got kicked off of YouTube? Because they kick out people who are appealing. It's not necessarily what you say.
Yeah.
If you can be appealing, if you can be funny, you can this guy might attract some people over to his side. No.
True.
Too dangerous.
True. And that's the reason why I like to keep a low profile. You know what I'm saying? If you look at my videos on Tree of Logic, they were comical but very educational. And I think that is just a dangerous combination. And I learned in 2016 that it's something that YouTube don't want. And that's when the strike started. First they denied me AdSense on that channel in the summer of 2016. And I had started the channel in June of that same year. And then my first strike came in December of that year. And it was just hell from then on out. So, and I think, ET is the first YouTuber I know to get officially banned from YouTube. He was the first, okay? And then I think more people started to follow along. I think they started going through a lot of the white nationalists, and then of course about Alex Jones. And so it was just like we just felt like, oh my God, and nobody's safe.
Yeah. Let's keep on continuing until more and more people are taken off and scrubbed away, or at least until more people have to censor their viewpoints. I mean, on the show, we know the certain topics. Okay, we need to be really careful around, and that's freezing our speech, it's censoring us, right? Because we can't say everything we want to be able to say sometimes,
Right.
And that's going to keep on getting worse.
Yeah, and that's what I do look forward to. I mean, this will stay on YouTube, but that's one thing I'm one of the shows I can't wait to get back is the Epic Fights and Police Arrests. And that was one of my favorite shows to watch, where I just basically get fights and police arrests, especially to shoot them up in the police dog videos of criminals being captured. And we would just watch them and play bingo. That's where Ghetto Bingo came from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Like Joe Rogan commenting on the fight.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of laughing though, because it's like, I ain't do nothing. It was always something like that, or I think the Ghetto Bingo part of it just made watching those police arrest videos just so more enjoyable. Yeah.
I mean, we all like when we see people who are doing wrong get their comeuppance.
Absolutely.
Right? When we see the bully in school picking on a kid and get dropped to the floor, that's like the funnest thing to watch.
Right. We love to watch bad people get what they deserve. So anyway. All right, guys. So that concludes episode number 4 of the Bear and Tree Show. We went a little bit over, but that's fine. It, as you can see, it was well worth it. So be sure to be here next Wednesday. It's just us. We will be talking about, of course, a lot of great topics. So come here next Wednesday at 8:00 p.m. for the Bear and Tree Show. So you want to signal us out?
Yes, guys, come in next week, and we're going to try to have a lot of great guests on, but even without great guests, we still have a good show. So, yeah, have a good night, everyone.
All right. You all take care. And I was trying to get, I'm so sorry. I was trying to get some music in, but I guess we're just going to have to just, no. That was my fault. That was actually my fault, because I thought I had the music queued up, but okay, there we go. Now I got it queued up. All right, let's wave.
Bye, everyone.